towards 23rd on Dark Matter Radio.
And now, your host, the captain of conspiracy, the prince of paranormal. This ain't your daddy's radio network show. This is Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
How you doing? All right. Where did the time go? 24 hours. Boom. Just like that. Bam. It's Thursday. My favorite night of the week. This is Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, August 14th. We are 226 days into the new year. All right, we are live from the JP Motorsports Studios right here in Burbank, California. For KJCR and the Dark Matter Radio Network, I am your humble host, Jimmy Church. I'd like to welcome everybody all around the world, all across this great country of ours. Welcome to the show. Phone calls already coming in, lined up 10 minutes before the show. Oh, man, I'll open up the lines here in a little bit. Just be patient. Just be patient. Big proud salute to the men and women in uniform all around the world, fighting the good fight for us. Without them, there is no me. There is no you. There is no us. And this show doesn't exist. Think about that. Right on. TweetDeck's live. Emails live. I made the mistake, by the way, everybody. Oh, man. Upgrading, updating, whatever. My email program. And now it's just a different format. I can't go back to the old view. I can't collapse it right like I used to before. All I wanted to see was my inbox. Now it's all screwed up. I'm going to have to get used to that. Okay, here they go. Here they go. Dale is memeing away. Bring it, big guy. Bring it. Bring me your best stuff. It was kind of funny before the show. Nancy tweeted, "We hit 10,000 on TalkStream Live." And I'm like, wow. Nancy and Bill got it going on. I got to get me some of that. She says Bill's sitting on the couch listening to the show, being mellow. I can just picture it now. I see him. Cigar. Some Chardonnay. No, I think he's more of a port guy. Some $100 glass of port. Today, comedian, actor, Steve Martin is 69 years old. We're going to light it up on Twitter right now. This is what we're going to do. Starred in some of the great films of all time, no doubt. The Jerk, Father of the Bride, Sergeant Bilko, All of Me, Three Amigos. But my favorite is... I'm looking at the clock. I'm looking at the clock. It starts now. You have 2 minutes. Twitter. Follow us. At JChurchRadio. Hashtag DMRadioNet. It is live to my left. What is my favorite Steve Martin film? I want to see it pop up. Pops up. We'll do an autographed copy of Don Schmidt's new book to the winner. You have 2 minutes. And it better not be it's impossible because Steve Martin's catalog is 57 movies strong. So you got 2 minutes. And you know my mind. You know my mind. It should be the jerk. Nah. You have 2 minutes. Nope. I'm watching. 2 minutes. We are now. Got 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Dirty, rotten scoundrels. No pennies from heaven. Good. Jerk. Nope. Parenthood. Grand Canyon. Ken is going to list them all in one tweet. Nope. Autographed copy. Don Schmidt's new book. And it's a good autograph, too. I'm watching. Okay. You've got 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Somebody's got to know. I've said it on the show before. Dead men don't wear plaid. That's number 2. Good guess, Ken. That's a good guess. I watch that once a month. That is a great guess. That's a great movie. All right. Okay, let's keep it moving. You've got 30 seconds. I'm watching. Roxanne, that's good. Okay. Follow us on Twitter, @JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Come join the family. Come hang out in the sandbox. #DMRadioNet. Please don't say Pink Panther. Dave C., that tweet deserves something. That was a good one. Man with Two Brains, another good one. Nobody said planes, trains, or automobiles. What's up with that? Kind of shocked. All right. Follow us on Twitter, @JChurchRadio, #DMRadioNet. Do come out and hang out with us. Okay. Oh, nobody guessed. That ain't right. You ready? Nobody guessed. Hey, you missed it, and we're 15 seconds late. I thought somebody would get it. My Blue Heaven. And everybody just went, oh, that's right. My Blue Heaven. When he played Vinnie Antonelli. Oh, that's a drag. Okay, you know what? I wanted to give that away. We'll do it later on in the show. How's that? All right? Okay. We'll make it happen. Don't worry about it. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe. Club Paradise. All right. Open lines all night. It's Open Line Thursday. We've got a few things we're going to get out of the way. We'll get to the first break. We'll bang some stuff out. And then we're going to open up these lines all night. All right? We'll see if we can get Bill Burns off the couch. Have him stroll over and join us with Nancy. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, those two talk so much that I think the last thing they want to do is call in here. But, I think they should check in. Email Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And, that new email program that I've got. Oh, man. Or the update, I should say. That's really going to mess with me tonight. Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. That's what you want to do. Come join the family. I mean, this is it's just an amazing experience, humbling experience every single night. Talked to Victoria today from Contact in the Desert, and had a long conversation with her. And I'll just say this: that was an amazing time, and they are going to be doing. You know what I shouldn't say. Okay, Victoria, I'm going to back off, but they might do a second show. They might do a second convention, and it's I think they're going to do it. But man, if they do, but next year I'll be a presenter. And I am going to do the show live, probably in the Lotus Room, which is behind the sanctuary, which is the big, the indoor arena there. But I'm totally fired up about that. And so we will be doing the show from there live next year in the Lotus Room. That's going to be cool. We get to move. Our spot was like you know, when you go into a restaurant and they seat you at the table in the back next to the kitchen door by the bathrooms, doors swinging all night, hitting your chair, and you're there trying to have a good time, and that it was kind of like us at this show. It was great, though. It was a great experience, and it was awesome. But next year, man, Lotus Room. That's what I'm talking about. That's where Dolan did his thing. And for anybody that was at Contact, you know what I'm talking about, the Lotus Room, behind the big room. And so that's going to be great. Thank you, Victoria. And that show, I was reading last night Jason Colavito's blog, which I do read every single day. If I do one thing every single day, I do that. Jason writes a good blog. And he's full on skeptic, and it's really cool. He does it in such a good way. And he I don't know if he listens to this show. I'm not too sure, but I'm a big fan of his. And he wrote a piece last night, his blog, or the last two nights are on Contact in the Desert. And his blog last night was in response to New York Magazine's article about is the UFO dead? Because of the turnout of a recent symposium that was on the East Coast, that the numbers were down. And he said, and he responded, and he defended Contact in the Desert. It was really well written for a guy that's just on the other side of the fence, in a good way. Jason's a really good writer, good investigator, very smart guy. He said, look, they had 4,000 people at Contact in the Desert. That's just like the old days. What are you talking about? Ufology is here. It's on. There is UFO programming on and he listed everything. You know, Nat Geo, Sci-Fi, History 1, History 2, Discovery. And he listed like 10 channels. He said, and each one of those programs is getting between 4 and 500,000 and 4 million viewers per episode. You know, we're talking 10 million people across the country probably or more per night in programming that are reaching out and getting their fix. Back in the day, in the 70s, when there was no internet and immediate mass media, and you only had 3 television channels, and you might have 1 UFO program per year, some special. That's all you had, but now it comes in from all directions. So people don't attend the symposiums like they used to because they can reach out on the internet and connect with everybody, get groups going. And he was exactly right. He was exactly right. It was a great thing. So anyway, I was talking to Victoria about that today. I said, you had 4,000? She goes, nah, 2,000. 2,000. But it seemed like 4. I don't know where Jason got the 4,000 number at. His blog from the night before said 2,000. He upped it to 4. I'll tell you now, Jason, straight from Victoria, it's just 2,000. It seemed like more. It was packed. It was insane. It was such a great time. So anyway, Jason, I got to get you on the show. Respond to your email once. He's probably looking at that going, man, church, I can't do it. I can't do it. If I contact you, then I'm saying I'm interested. And I think he wants to. He should. He should. All right. I do. I want to get Jason on the show. And, go toe-to-toe. Take off the gloves. He's a good dude. All right. Let's get to the first break. And then when I come back, let's get to some email. And then let's open up those phone lines. I am ready. This is Thursday. Call in open lines. It's open lines, right? Is that what we're calling it? Hey, TweetDeck, are we calling it Open Lines Thursday? You know what we should do? Maybe we'll give away a book to the tweeter that can name today. We need to come up with a name. We need a theme. Ken Lipson just said Teter is going to call in tonight. Yeah, if you're a time traveler, if you know John Teter, you know what's going on, call the show. 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses, only on the Dark Matter Radio Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be back right after this.
You're listening to Jimmy Church Fade to Black on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National tax experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
On the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Oh, yeah. Fade to Black. Night of the Fadernauts. Call on the Couch Thursday. Time Tangled Thursday. That's good. That's good. We need to name it. We need to come up with something cool. Fade to Black is my special purpose. This is Fade to Black, the spoke radio for the masses. That's right. It's Call In Thursday. For now, temporarily, Call In Thursday. Yeah, I'll give away a book. Fringe Night. That's good. That's coming in from Allison. That's actually real good. That's tasty. If Teter, this is from Walter, if Teter did call in, it wouldn't be the original Teter. The 1% or 2% variance in world lines. It'd be 99% Teter, 98%. Okay, calls are coming in. I'm not opening up the lines yet, but I will say this. Turn off your caller ID. I mean, I need to see your phone number. I need to see your phone number. No unknown phone calls coming in. I don't pick those up ever. Don't do it. I don't do it. So turn on your caller ID. Turn it off, turn it on. You know what I'm saying. All right. Email. Ben Miller. Check this out. He says, I've just found an intriguing headline and storyline in Mail Online from the UK, the website. The headline is, Mystery as £20 million in cash is withdrawn from accounts of 4 passengers who went down in the doomed flight MH370. Send me that link. I got to read that story. That's insane. He follows that up with, what do you think? Suspicious or just criminal? First off, I want to know if it's true. We need to check that source. Keep that. I really want to know. Talk Thursday, MC Ryder, Thursday Talk. Talk Thursday, Thursday Talk. Jimmy Church wrap-up show. Nah, take my name out. Wrap-up show, possibly. That's good. We got to get creative. Get creative. Free for All Thursday. That's coming in from Space Boy. That's not bad. Kind of like call on the couch Thursday. Oh, well done. Oh, well done. Okay. Let me set some thoughts on the table for tonight. Let's set some thoughts on the table. We've got last night, James Fox and off the cuff Thursday. These are just coming in. Church talk. Jeez. we got to do the church reference, right? Okay. Again, somebody's calling in, unknown phone. The lines aren't open yet. Turn off your caller ID or turn it on. James Fox last night, Tracy Torme. That was a really cool, very fun show. Oh, by the way, I just saw that. Telephone. Taco Thursday. Stu, if you're listening, love for you to call in, Stu. Check in with us. All right. Last night, James Fox and Tracy Torme. That was a good show. And so I would like to put those subjects on the table. Also, Clifford Stone the night before. Talk about Clifford. If we're going to wrap up the week, we can do that. And also on Monday, we had John Burroughs on. So Rendlesham Forest. There is, Peter Robbins has published online a response to Nick Pope's book. And his is a book, too. It's available free online. We did post it. He sent me an advance copy of it last month, and I read through it. Pretty astounding read. It's going to ruffle some feathers, but again, it's not so much about what Peter has to say. It's more about just trying to get the facts straight, and that's why we are going to have that get-together out here. I almost forgot. How did I forget about this? This Tuesday, the 19th, we are going to broadcast live from UPARS out here in Studio City. We're going to have Nick Menza and Preston Dennett as our guests. So it will be Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Well, you know when we start the show. And it's going to be in Studio City at the Unitarian Church, which is at 12355 Moore Park Street, Studio City. Come out and join us. Hang out. It's always a great time out there. Come out and meet Nick, meet Preston, hang out with all of us. And after the show that night, let's just have a little meet and greet and get together. Bring me a Starbucks. But, come and hang out with all of us. We're going to be showing Nick's video that he shot in Studio City. Most of you have seen it, but we're going to show it there live. And for the audience there that hasn't seen it, that should be interesting. But we're also going to do a question and answer session with Nick. Also, after that, Preston Dennett and myself are going to do a presentation on the Malibu base. We are going to, Walter Lewis, fade to chat. That's good. That's actually good. Meet and greet. Meet and greet. We're going to have a question and answer about the Malibu base, and we will be presenting all of our new data for the first time. And I will also be showing some video. All right? So that's this Tuesday. So if you're in Los Angeles, that's going to be the place to be Tuesday night. Right there, Studio City at the Unitarian Church. Nick Menza and Preston Dennett. It's a really cool place, too. It's a good vibe. Steve always puts on a good show. His organization, UPARS, that he started after MUFON, is very cool. And everybody that shows up every single month for every seminar that he does there, it's a really cool family vibe. Love hanging out there. It's the place where I did the show with Richard Dolan. Holds about maybe 150. I think, we could probably pack in maybe 200. There's always a typical crowd of about 100, 125. And it's full. So come out and hang out with us. It's going to be a really, really cool time. And it should be hot, steamy, studio lights, all that stuff. It's really cool. So do come out and hang out with us. All right? Okay, let's see. Dale just said, man, I wish I could be in SoCal. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I know not everybody can make it, but if you are in Los Angeles and the Valley and you want to come hang out, come and do it. So that's this Tuesday, okay? Just a few days away. It's coming up on us really quick. Tonight, some of the phone calls that I would like to do tonight, I would like to do Ouija board stories. Do you have a good Ouija board story? I'd like to hear. I'd like to know. I'm so intrigued. At one of the things that we planned on doing out at Contact, we were going to do a Ouija board session. We didn't get around to it. We were pretty busy doing some other stuff. But I'm totally intrigued. You got a good Ouija board story? Let's talk about that tonight. Also, I got a lot of email this week about The Shining 2.0. And I found that really interesting. And how everybody did go and, well, not everybody, but a bunch of you went out and watched The Shining 2.0 and then watched the movie. And I got a bunch of email about that. So if you did do that, I would love to hear what you thought about that, because you do end up watching the movie with another set of eyes. Oh, also Carol Peralt, great painter, by the way, and we just posted her Starbucks alien painting, and she said that she went and did the 2.0 and then watched the movie. And now she's doing a 2.0 Kubrick Shining painting, and I can't wait to see that, Carol. By the way, you've got to send us those images as soon as you get to it. All right, so that's setting the table. All right. Oh, did anybody see, by the way, Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson? I talked about that last week. Did anybody go and peep that out? Because if you did, that, as far as alien movies go, that one is totally left field and a different way to do an alien flick, an E.T. flick. Did anybody see that? I would like to hear some reactions on that, because if you haven't seen it, you've got to check it out. It's pretty cool, and it's definitely different, and it's definitely sad. All right. Did I just give something away? I hope I didn't. This is Fade to Black. Fade to Black, call-in Thursdays. Cracking Thursdays. Method of signaling just said, yes, good flick. Not great, but good. Really? I'll be back right after this.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Dark matter.
Dark Matter. Dark Matter. Dark Matter. Dark Matter.
You're listening to Fade to Black
on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Fade to Friday. That's pretty cool. Does that let anybody know, though, that what we're doing? I love the name. This is Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Call-In Thursday. Let's get this one cracking. All right, let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. I do want to talk about, as we're taking calls, I got a bunch of email from Lou this week about SETA and 1991 VG. If you don't know what 1991 VG is or SETA, just go and Google, look it up, check it out. But this is, already. Okay, I'm going to try. Here we go. This is against all of my rules. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
This is Stuart.
Oh, Stu.
Yeah.
Stu.
You told me to call in.
Wow. So, okay, you want to open the show tonight, Stu?
Sure, if you'd like.
How are you, man? Where'd you vacation?
Well, I was in Arizona. I was doing a conference, and then I took a few days off, and did the Grand Canyon and other stuff. Yeah, drove through Sedona, of course. So,
and
it was fun.
Yeah, I went and listen. Hey, Stu, check this out. By the way, how do I say this? Pseudo Astro. What? I mean, I don't know what handle you're using. But pseudoastronomy.com, I believe, is the blog. Am I correct?
Pseudoastro.wordpress.com.
Oh.
I don't have a domain for it.
Okay, that's too long. I'm glad you said
it.
That's
okay.
That's a tongue twister. Welcome back, my friend. And I'll just say this: I was getting caught up. I think did I send you an email or something? It doesn't matter, but I certainly reached out to you and said, I've been getting caught up, and I was listening to a bunch of your recent podcasts, and you sounded, you've kind of made a change. I don't know if this is subconscious or you don't realize it, but when you listen to your old broadcast, your older ones, you were kind of like James Lipton inside the Actors Studio, right? Straightforward, from the book. Intimidating almost, just coming at. Now you sound a little more uppity and aggressive. Do you realize this? Have you noticed the change?
A little bit. I mean, especially with the Facebook and ethics and science episode that I did, I was very opinionated on that one. But after 100 episodes, I think everyone changes. I mean, you've changed after over 100 episodes of Fade to Black. So
yeah, sure.
It happens, and it's hard to stay, completely stoic. And these are just the facts, and let's explore things. And after doing it for 3 years, I mean, you have to have a little bit more fun with it.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know which one I like better. I like you both. I like both of you. I do. I like you both, but. It's just kind of funny. It's just for me.
Maybe I can bring the other personality out to play.
Yeah. Open up that bottle again, but that's okay. Hey, so anyway, the other night I just thought I'd share this with you, and I know you'll grin. We were out of contact in the desert. We started the show, and we had our all of the Fadernauts and everybody hanging out. I sent everybody out on missions to go and let everybody know where we were. Different presenters, to come on down the show, and we'll schedule some times with everybody. And so we had our list, right, and everything. And we start the show, and everything's good. And then walking up is Mike Barra. And
there you go.
Yeah. And he wasn't booked on the show. I said, hey, Mike, come on over. Hey, Jimmy, what's up? Hey, yeah, you want to jump in? Yeah, let's do it. So he sits down, and I got to say, Stu, I like that guy. I like that guy a lot. He was a lot of fun. And it was something that I think for everybody there to see him open up, and his personality is bigger than the room that you're in. And he was really good. He was really cool. He was really good. I tried to bust his chops a little bit, but he took it, and he was good. He was good. He was a lot of fun.
I think, he's been on a lot of interviews, and I've never personally interviewed him. So This is what I told someone else, that in general, we all sound good, or we try to sound good and at least polite on interviews.
Sure.
All I can say, because that was something that I did want to talk a little bit about. All I can say is that, at least in writing, if you read anything that he's written with respect to arguing with people who might critique some of his conclusions, he is not as nice as he comes off in interviews. For example, the entire foreword to his Ancient Aliens on Mars 1 book that came out last year is basically an attack on me. In his latest book, Ancient Aliens on Mars 2, he calls Phil Plait a disgusting toad of a man in print, which to me is, Phil Plait, you can think of what you want, but it's kind of odd, and I personally think immature to put that in print. And but that's my opinion, and there you go.
And he's got there's one thing when you have a guy like a personality like Mike. I think that, and this happens with a lot of people that do a lot of writing as opposed to somebody that you know personally and you know their personality. What they write and the way that it comes across in written word is your perception. So, and what I mean by that is sometimes you can read anger in it, you can read maybe happiness in something that is actually supposed to be angry, or vice versa. With him, I don't know if he's a bitter person. I don't think he is. I think he's just a happy guy. I really do. And if he's writing something that
may be true.
Yeah. And if he's writing something that comes across as negative, he's probably writing it in a very sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek way that comes across, crass or negative, when I don't know if that's the intent. I could be way wrong, but I spent a lot of time with him, and my opinion. You know what I've said, about Mike with you on and off of the air, and you know exactly where I'm going, and I've said some things, but I gotta say the guy's all right. He's all right. And
I can post you an image that he put on his website with me getting run over by a car. Regardless of whatever.
Right. And that's exactly
intent you might want to read into that.
It's
not necessarily the most professional.
No, it's not. Absolutely. And I hear you. Loud and clear. He said one thing on the air the other night, and this went out. It's out there. It's you can go listen to it. I don't know if you heard it, but he just said something like, "Oh, Jimmy, thanks for smoke or blowing rose smelling air up my butt," or he said something like that. But if that was in print, the way that if he typed that instead of the way that he said it, you'd be like, "Man, what a jerk." But it was actually, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
I don't know. I've never met him personally. All I can go is based on what's written. I was wondering, are you interested in discussing this whole thing with on the Twitter about this debate thing, or is that something you're not interested in?
That's I've gotten an email about that. I've seen it on Twitter, and it's out there. Look, this is my vibe with that. What I don't want to do is I'm all for it, but what I don't want to do is turn this show into something where two people are lose control of their emotions, and then it turns into personal attacks. That's not. It wouldn't be cool. It wouldn't be cool for either of you guys to. I don't want anybody to feel embarrassed or regret or anything. Why did I do that? That wasn't cool, and it has the potential of really spinning out of control. I
don't think that would necessarily happen. I mean, arts mediated a lot of debates in the past. I mean, even Richard Hoagland and Ed Mitchell. They sort of went at it. Or what was it? There was one debate, I think, that he did between Neo Velikovsky and Electric Universe versus not.
Right.
So, I mean, it's definitely possible to do, and I think that you'd probably be pretty good at it. It would be interesting. I'll just say that I think that the whole idea had come about because on the other show, the Coast to Coast show,
right.
Mike had said some disparaging things about me, and George Norrie basically sent me an email saying, "Hey, you should debate. Mike's agreed to debate." And I said, "Cool. When?"
Oh, is that right? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. He said, "When?" I said,
okay.
He said, February of this year. And I said, "Okay, I'll contact you in January." And I did, and then he said Mike put it off, and I contacted him in March, and nothing. And April, and nothing.
Okay.
And June and May, and nothing. And then someone else asked George about it, and apparently his response was, "It takes two to tango." So all I know is that I continued to contact George, so I'm just guessing that Mike might have backed out. Either that or George, for some reason, is not getting any of my emails. So
right.
that's sort of how that whole thing came about.
Right.
As I said, I have no idea if you're interested in that or not.
Like I said,
I'd be willing.
Yeah, it's Stu, you're a friend. Mike's a friend. He's a cool guy. You're a cool guy. If there's a way to do it where it's fun and it's interesting and we can get all of this stuff out, I'm down for that. I'll certainly I'll call Mike after the show, and we are going to have him on next week, I believe. I think it's next week that we have him scheduled. So. Okay, I'm down for it. Just like I said, you know what this show is about, and it's so easy. It is so easy to just go south, and there's no fun in that. There's no fun in that, and I know that some people out there would just love to hear but no, that's not what this is about.
No, I'm not, and I'm not like that. I know I tend to be polite even when people are insulting me. At least I tend to be polite in public. So I consider this show a public show. So,
sure.
I mean, I'm incredibly measured right now.
Well, I told Mike. It's funny. I told Mike on the show last week, or maybe off the air. Maybe it was on the air. I can't remember. It was very hot out there. I don't remember a whole lot. But I told him. I said, I don't necessarily agree with everything. But I did like your new Mike Barra that was on what was that show called, Uncovering Aliens or whatever, where he wasn't doing his, and I said this to you weren't doing your normal Mike Barra thing. It was another side. You were investigating, and you were and that was really cool, and I thought you were really great on that. And so that's where I'm coming from. He knows I don't agree with everything. There's some of it that I do find interesting, and that too as well. The lights on that anomaly with the
Curiosity.
rover, with Curiosity. Yeah. That I still say I'll fight that one to the bone. And I got an email about that. Hey man, radiation, and it was a good email too. Radiation and other effects when you're transporting equipment across the universe in the solar system, things can go wrong and get affected, and it's not a defect, So anyway, but
I try to say, hey, look, there are several possible explanations. Here's what they are.
Right.
Here's the evidence for each one.
Right.
Now decide which one you want to believe.
Right.
Personally, I chose the CCD anomaly issue, hot pixel or whatever. You chose UFO, and that's fine as long as we reach the conclusion from examining the different evidences out there and the different possible explanations, as opposed to just jumping automatically to the UFO explanation. And that's really all I try to do.
Stu, what are you going to do with all of your podcasts when one night you wake up at 3 a.m. and you got a little 4-foot gray alien at the foot of your bed pointing a finger at you? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, man?
I'd ask the alien to come on the show. Seriously. Man. As I said when you interviewed me, I would love for there to be ET life and a plethora of evidence for it. But when the best evidence seems to be, just a few pixels here or there,
right?
To me, I lean on the side of skepticism.
Would you call yourself a scientist? I mean, you have a PhD. I mean, would you call yourself that?
I would. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what it says in the job description?
Right. So since you are, let me throw this out at you. And I've been discussing this all week on the show. I don't know if you've been listening. But anyway, is this...
I just got back to Boulder last night after spending hell in Phoenix for 2 days because of monsoons and airplanes being canceled because they were hovering over the airport and unable to land. But anyway.
Right. And there's nothing like that in Phoenix anywhere in the world. So, but it's this. This is where science bothers me. All of you scientists and PhD types that research space, astronomy, the planets, atoms, physics, all of that. You want us to digest string theory. You want us to fund that research. You want us to fund 11 dimensions. You want us to fund folding space, black holes, wormholes, all of the. You want us to understand all of that and listen to your research. Okay? But then on the other hand, you won't accept the fact that if all of that is true, dimensions are true, and parallel universes are true, and multiple universes are true, and wormholes and black holes and all of that, folding space, all of that, but yet you can't accept the fact that there might be intelligent life out there that understands all of that already and is coming here to visit. You know, you can't have it both ways, my brother.
Well, so here's where you really need to realize that there is some compartmentalization. So the people who study string theory, it's an incredibly small group. The people who study black holes may be a little bit bigger. But, you know, there you're talking about theoretical physicists, and you're talking about general relativity cosmologists, and it's maybe a few thousand people. And if I had to guess, I would guess that many of them are actually very open to the ideas that you just listed. It's, again, just a matter of what is there good, reproducible evidence for. Now, I realize that a lot of people who lean more towards the paranormal side don't like the whole requirement of reproducibility. But, you know, whether or not that's a good idea for the philosophy of science, that something has to be reproducible, there comes a point where if it's not reproducible, then what's the point in it being real? Like, take, for example, a psychic, a person who claims that they're psychic. And they, one time, had a really, really good, spot-on prediction, 100% correct. That's great. Now, do it again. Because if you can't do it again, then what's the point? Because you're no longer making any psychic predictions that are good, that are on, that actually have relevance. And so, you know, I will concede, and I'm perfectly happy conceding, it is entirely possible that an alien might come up and point its green finger, if it has fingers, tentacle, whatever, at me in the middle of the night, and then disappear. That might be a 100% real thing. But if there's no way to prove it, if there's no way to reproduce it, if there's no evidence for it that I can show, if it never happens to anyone ever again, what's necessarily the point to anyone else? I mean, other than my own, hey, this happened, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And that's sort of where I'm coming from with this. But as I said, I think that many scientists are actually much more open to especially on the theoretical side, they're much more open to the possibilities that you just listed.
And listening to your response, it sounds like you also want to have it both ways. And, you know, and I understand that because we're talking theoretical. That we're talking theory. And if it's not reproducible, just like you said, a gray alien shows up at the foot of my bed, points his finger at me, and then disappears, and it doesn't happen again, well, then, you know, It just doesn't make any sense. You can't have it both ways. We can't prove string theory, but yet we research it.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
but we can't prove an ET existence, and we don't research it.
For fear of pissing off other scientists, I personally have issues with string theory. I don't think it should be called a theory, where theory is something that's been tested and shown to withstand all tests. String, quote-unquote, theory has never been proven, never been shown to be real, and it doesn't even have hypotheses that are testable with any kind of current technology. So I actually steer on the side of string, quote-unquote, theory is a hypothesis, a model that may or may not be true. We really don't know, as opposed to something like the germ theory of disease. That diseases are caused by germ. That's a theory because it's withstood all attempts to disprove it. We've seen how germs cause disease. So, you reach towards the edges of theoretical physics and say that we ask you to believe it. Well, I think that most string theorists, except for Michio Kaku, as the most outspoken one, would say, hey, this is just a model that makes some interesting predictions that seem to be valid, but they are not unique, and therefore it can't yet be called a theory. Now, for me, I study craters. Those are reproducible. I observe a crater there. Someone else looks. They're going to probably see a crater there. So for me, the particular field that I'm in, it's much more reproducible, and I consider that much more concrete science, so to speak. But, with black holes, hey, we can make predictions based on general relativity and what we think black holes should do. We can go out and we can look, and we see those things happen. And we can't figure out how to explain it any other way. Therefore, yeah, black holes are probably real. But believe it or not, there actually are some physicists out there who say black holes are not real because they have some other idea of what could explain the observations. They're in the very minority, but that's out there. So I hear a lot of people say, scientists say this, that, and the other thing. It's actually a little bit more nuanced than that.
Let me ask you one question that I've always, and I threw this out at Michio, and he danced with the answer. But let me throw this out. Let me throw this out at you. If the idea of traveling through a black hole or through a wormhole, it's been in movies and it's been in books and certainly, it's a great fantasy and so forth to move across vast distances of space. But if you travel through a black hole or a wormhole, aren't you disassembled? Aren't you just a string of, you're stretched into miles and miles and miles of atoms? You're disassembled. What's the point of even thinking about traveling with that if you're disassembled? If you drove a ship into it, certainly it would be stretched into nothing. On the other side, are you reassembled somehow magically and every atom knows where to go back?
You're dealing with the Star Trek transporter problem almost.
Yeah, exactly.
With black holes, I'm not sure where the idea comes from, even though I've seen a lot of people say that you can travel through a black hole. A black hole is effectively a point. It's a singularity that is effectively infinite density as we can understand it at the moment. It's probably something a little bit more exotic. General relativity actually breaks down the old T-shirt adage of black holes are where God divided by zero. That's kind of the issue. So you can't travel through a black hole so far as we know. Wormholes, it's a 100% hypothetical thing where the math works. The question is, how would you build it? And then what would actually happen if you, quote unquote, traveled through it? As I understand it, and this is in absolutely no way my field, as I understand it, the basic idea of the wormhole is it's like folding a sheet of paper in half, so connecting two distant points by a very short point, the wormhole through these 2 points in space. So it's not actually like disassembling and reassembling, but I'm not really sure. I know that's how they did it on Stargate, which I love that show. But
right.
Yeah, so, I mean, other than that, when you travel towards a black hole, you get spaghettified. I mean, you just get torn apart into, as you said, atomic or even subatomic particles as you get closer and closer to the black hole. And tidal forces are going to pull you apart because the gravity at your feet is so much stronger than the gravity at your head. It would be a very, very painful way to die. Wormholes, different, but, I mean, it's so hypothetical. I mean, it's basically what happens on paper. And as we know with many things in physics, on paper, sometimes things work out exactly as we expect. Other times, it doesn't. So even if black holes are a real thing that could be made, I'm not sure anyone really knows what would actually happen. I mean, in Stargate, I think they had it where, like, the Stargate itself actually had a memory of where every single particle went, and it transferred it to the other Stargate to reassemble you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's an incredible piece of technology. It would be very cool if something like that were real.
Stuart Robbins, everybody. Thank you, Stu, for calling in, and I'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll get this going. Okay, I'll reach out to Mike, and of course he'll be on the show next week, and we'll get this set up. Okay, if George couldn't pull it off, I will. All right.
Hey, I have one request.
Sure.
When you interview Mike,
yes.
Ask him what it is when people see faces in clouds or Jesus on toast or that kind of stuff, because Mike claims that Paridolia, this idea of seeing patterns and randomness, doesn't exist. And yet, I mean, I don't understand how he can say that when people sell a piece of toast that they say has Jesus on it for thousands of dollars.
Right. Well, check this out, Stu. Somebody sent me a video today of this researcher looking at the Malibu underwater base. He's looking at a bunch of pictures, and it's a pretty cool video, actually. I should repost it. And he's going through and swapping colors, going negative, increasing contrast, and doing some stuff. And it's actually pretty cool. There was some, again, somebody that has that kind of patience, I don't. But to sit there and be able to do that in real time in this video is pretty amazing. And then he goes, now, I want you to look right here. It looks like a statue that has fallen over because you can see a face right there. And now I've looked at those pictures hundreds of times, all of them. I never saw this before. And all of a sudden I'm like, he's right. Whoa. And people see that. It's so easy to see another face. I never saw it until he pointed it out in this video. And it's pretty incredible how a face shows up like that. To me, it's incredible. Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, there was the Rosetta space probe that got to that comet just last week, I think. I mean, there are already pictures circulating showing, hey, look, it looks like a face. Right. Yeah. We talked about that on the show. I think we even posted it. And that, okay. Yeah, and that was from a side view, too. I would love, just swing around and take a look at the front of the comet and then see. But, yeah. Well, you know what, though? It was a pretty good face from the side view. It was. Yeah. Well, just like the old man in the mountain in New Hampshire before it collapsed. I was thinking Abe Lincoln. I was thinking Snoopy, too. So there you go. Stuart Robbins, everybody. Thank you, Stu. We'll be in touch over the weekend. All right. Have a good rest of the show. All the best, Stu. Stuart Robbins, pseudo-astronomy. Thank you, Stu. Yeah. Yep. I didn't say pseudo. Pseudo-astronomy. And I just go and search Stuart Robbins and go and listen to that show. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, let's take a break. Let's take a quick break. I'll be back right after this, and let's take some more phone calls. This is Fade to Black only on the Dark Matter Radio Network. This is Call-In Thursdays. Have we come up with a name yet? Shoot me an email to Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us, everybody.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? My name's Brian Taylor, Ninja Badass Extraordinaire, and this is JimmyChurchRadio.com.
JJCR in your face.
JimmyChurchRadio.com on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Fade to Black. Call-in numbers 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black 14, the number 14. Just got an email. Jimmy, what about Graham Hancock? Any chance of getting Graham on the show? And that comes in from Steve. Yes, we will have Graham on the show in about a month. And we're really looking forward to it. So, absolutely. Graham will be with us very soon. We just got the links up. I think, did they get posted for the MH370 article on... Yeah, I think it's there. Okay. Very good. Okay, back to what I was talking about. 323-825-5045, by the way. There was like 5 phone calls that came in while I was talking to Stu. Just go ahead and call back. The lines are open. Back to CETA and 1991 VG. This was sent in by Lou. This is the deal. A 10-meter object on a heliocentric orbit, now cataloged as 1991 VG, made a close approach to planet Earth in 1991 in December and was discovered a month before with the Space Watch telescope at Kitt Peak. It was in an Earth-like orbit and was observed rapid brightness fluctuations and so forth. But it was determined that it could be and might have been and probably was an artificial body rather than an asteroid. Yes. Now, what we are suggesting here is an alien probe entered our solar system. This was in 1991, and the implications are heavy and deep. And the amount of information on the web about this is almost none. My question is, why would it be shut down? It's kind of like the Black Knight satellite, 15,000 years old or whatever. But it's a crazy story. None of the handful of man-made rocket bodies that we have shot out from planet Earth were tied to this. Could it have been a man-made rocket body that was back, and that's what we were observing? VG was very small. In addition, the asteroid belt out there is something that if you are trying to send something over here that wouldn't be detected, maybe you would put it in the asteroid belt and have it in our solar system there. It would make sense. And we are constantly looking at the asteroid belt for just such an object. We really haven't found one, except for this, 1991 VG. Now, I'm going to redirect here on a couple of spots. Much of the work and discussion of SETI tends to overlook the possibility, tends to overlook the possibility of discovering alien artifacts within the solar system. Such a pursuit is normally known as CETA, Search for Extraterrestrial Artifacts. Over the past 2 decades, various authors have debated whether the best place to look for such artifacts would be the asteroid belt in the outer solar system on planetary surfaces or extraterrestrial probes in the inner solar system. Whereas the famous Fermi paradox argument is based upon the understanding that such probes have not been detected, and thus extraterrestrial intelligent beings do not exist. The aim of this communication is to point out very tentatively that an extraterrestrial space probe may have been detected in late 1991 in near-Earth space. It's an incredible story. Incredible story. VG 1991. I'm going to get really into this and get as much research done as I can before next week rolls around. I definitely want everybody's input on this. Let's figure this out. And, this Fade to Black family, when I send it out, 1991 VG, let's go. Let's figure this out. I need everybody to put your brain together for this. Send me anything that you can find. It's a fascinating subject. All right. One of the things that we talked about over at Contact in the Desert, I did this now infamous discussion on John Teter. And going back to the show that I had done on this, 6 months ago. The thing is with Teter, and again, if there's a time traveler out there, do give us a call. The thing is about Teter is the hoax has not been disproven. It's not a hoax until somebody gets busted. And what I was presenting to everybody there in that discussion was there are 4, maybe 5 or 6 different areas with the Teter story that make it very, 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 very complex. It's not just a story. It's not just somebody saying that they were a time traveler and they came from 2036 and the book is closed. It was much deeper than that. And to have so many different elements to the story, such as you have to have, in its very basic form, you would have to have a model builder and a crew involved in building the model of the time machine. Then you have to have an artist or a team of artists, a few artists that created the graphics that were involved with the model. Then you have to have the scientist involved. Oh, Nancy Burns is calling. Then you have to have the scientist involved with all of the... Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Good. Hi.
We're talking...
Hang on.
Okay.
Wait, hang on.
Okay.
I've got the...
We're talking about your favorite subject, John Teter.
I know. I have to call in. I couldn't help it. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. What? One of the things... Oh, there you are. Look at you. Look at you. Oh, I don't have... On this computer, I don't have a camera. On the other computer, I do. So you
How do I turn it off? Wait, hang on.
You look great. You look great. Let me see Bill. Let me see Bill. Where's he at? Where's he at? Hey, Bill.
Look in there.
Bill, how are you? It's Jimmy Church.
Oh, he can't hear you because I've got earphones on.
Oh, okay. Tell him I'm...
Look in there.
Yeah.
Look right there.
Hi, Bill. It's Jimmy Church. Wow.
He doesn't hear you. That's pretty cool. Actually, I can't. If I can't take the earphones off, then you won't. Actually, if I take the earphones off, you can hear us both.
Okay. Well, that's up to you. No. He says no. Okay. Hey. Anyway.
Wait a minute. I'm putting
we had
This is so unprofessional.
It does.
I need to make a video call, so I'm sorry about that. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Is this when we were at Contact in the Desert? We got all of the Fadernauts together, and we were Rita and I had this little I call it a cabin. It was a hotel room shaped like a cabin, I should say. Right. And so we all got together, and the subject of John Teter came up, and I am so passionate about it. And the thing is, you would have to have so many people involved with the Teter hoax that nobody has been busted, and the artist that was involved, whoever created the manuals, whoever did all of the graphics, that part wasn't done. There was no scientist that came forward when you're talking about gravity clocks and wormholes and singularities and all of that theory that was there. That wasn't. Nobody came forward. Nobody got busted. all of the computer science that was involved, and Hewlett Packard and IBM and Unix and code. Nobody got busted. You know, the location of the computer or any of that. Nobody got busted. Nobody anywhere got busted.
Right.
And it's such a complex, when you look at things, every time you, and what I mean is this, if you take any one of those little events with Teter, any single one of them, let's talk about graphics. Okay, you guys.
Well, here, have you given thought that it might be disinformation?
In what regard, Nancy?
Well, people in the government, and I'm not speaking about Corso, but maybe Corso, have put out very elaborate stories to kind of lead you to a different, space. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. The reason I wanted to call in was because I wanted to find out if you remember that part where he said what it's like to time travel, and he's in his vehicle, I believe, and then everything fades to black. Did you remember that?
Yes, and I have. You're not the first person to point that out.
Okay, good.
And this is what's weird with that. Yeah. Fade to black. The name Fade to Black came from a joke around our house about a video that I had done years ago when I had worked for Elisa's, and I had done this video about mixing, and I said at the end of the video, "Okay, we're done. Fade to black."
Oh, I see.
And so that was the joke.
Yeah, that's your cover story,
yeah.
Jimmy. Yeah.
But isn't it funny how, we hate to use that word coincidence, but isn't it funny that how so many years later where I get thrown into this whole John Teter universe thing and Fade to Black, and so many people have read into the name Fade to Black. It doesn't mean anything.
How old would he be if he were living right now? Because he got born in what?
Yeah, I think I'd have to look that up, but actually we could do the math. In 1999, his younger self, I believe, and if somebody can look this up and tweet it, I think his younger self was 8.
And how old are your kids?
19.
Okay.
19.
So, yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to take up too much time, but I did want to. We talked to Jordan Maxwell today. He was scheduled for Monday.
How is he doing? Is he still down in Panama?
No. I think he's back. I think he's in L.A., I believe.
Is he back in Burbank? Okay.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But he's asking for like another month to pull himself together.
What did you ask him what happened? I know that he lost a lot of stuff down there. Did he lose everything? Did he just come back with his clothes?
Bill didn't want to go into it because, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it got kind of personal. So, I think he just kind of needs a month. So we thought we'd give him a month, but I simply wanted to let people know. And also that we're going to fill in just part of the time with Philippe Moreau, the filmmaker. So he's doing some stuff.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then, yeah.
Is Jordan, how's his, I understand you're talking about his emotional state, but how's his physical health?
Not too bad. He sounded pretty good, actually.
Okay. So, okay.
And I think, he's got phones and files, let's just say, to worry about. So there's that. So
well,
I'm very uncomfortable with that little green light on, because I feel like, Lou Sheen doesn't believe me, but I was trying to figure out how to get ready to make a call but not make a call. That's why the radio was still on. It's very complicated here. and you can see, and Bill was asleep, and then I didn't realize we were on the air when I don't know how you can be on the air 1 minute and then be talking to me the next. It's very weird. I thought you were off the air, and I thought we were casually just, getting ready to talk. So that's why I was kind of, I'll never learn this business. Ever.
It's tough. And one day when you and Bill come into town, you've got to come over and check out the studio here.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah. It's amazing how somehow, with all the buttons, all the knobs, all the computers and everything else, and interfaces and phone lines and phone interfaces, how we pull this off every single night. And
I know, and we miss the West Coast terribly. We really loved it.
When are you guys coming out?
When we can. Bill's been pretty busy with finishing up some books, and also a lot more filming than usual. I think this is the time of the season when people who are doing new stuff are kind of gathering up the troops. So we may have good news. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah,
Bill
yeah.
just got mad, but yeah.
All right, Nancy, thanks a lot. And
I would put him on, but he's really sleeping.
Well, wake him up and have him call in.
No, maybe another night. Not tonight.
Thank you, Nancy. All the best.
Love you, Jimmy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's go straight into the next call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Demi, this is Debbie. You told me to call in on the 31st if I was listening, but I listened later when it's on YouTube. So I wanted to make a point to try to call in today.
Where are you calling from, Debbie?
On the East Coast, little bitty state of Delaware.
Oh, Delaware.
Yeah.
So how are you? What's going on?
Pretty good. Just wanted to touch base. I know I keep sending you emails and seem to make it on the air sometimes. I sent you all that stuff about MH370.
Yep.
I sent you my time shift thing that happened in Laramie, Fort Laramie.
That was insane. You should actually would you mind sharing that with everybody right now?
Yeah, sure.
Tell us about that story.
Well, we left the East Coast. We're headed out to British Columbia. Oh, no, that trip we were going to Yellowstone. And we were on motorcycles and had traveled out. And we'd been in Cheyenne the night before. Got up, had breakfast, went up to Fort Laramie. So it was like noon or so, something like that. Had not been there very long. I'd say maybe an hour. So it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was very hot, not a cloud in the sky. And we walked over toward the right. There's like a stream there that they cut blocks of ice out of and used like root fillers to keep food preserved as long as they could. And there was a plaque there that explained all that. But when I walked up to the river, what I saw wasn't really a river. It was just like a small stream.
Right.
But what I saw beyond that was like underneath the trees were wagons as far as I could see. And people, men, women, children in period attire. And it was kind of like dusk, and they looked like they were cooking. And the air, it just turned cool, like it was like really cool. And I got chill bumps from me, and from the coldness. And I don't know if it was just the time because it was dark and it was maybe a different time of year. I don't know. But I actually felt cold. And I could see the people. And then my first thought was like, well, what are they doing there? That must be some kind of reenactment or something. And I was like, no, there's nothing like that going on here. That doesn't make sense. And I turned back around to see where Dave was. I couldn't see him. And I turned back to look across the creek, and they just kind of like faded out, like almost fade to black, but not really black. But they just faded out. And it was bright again and hot again. And I turned around, and I could see Dave. So I don't know what happened. I have no idea. Never anything like that happened to me before or since. But it was weird.
That is. Did you go across the creek to see if there was any remnants, any wagon wheel tracks, or any footprints or anything?
No, thinking 20/20 hindsight, I should have, but I don't really know if you were allowed to now that I look back at it, or if there was a way to cross the creek. You might have had to go knee deep or however deep it was. I don't know. It wasn't very big, but I really don't remember. I should have, but I didn't.
Did you talk to anybody else around there about it? Did anybody else see it but you?
No, there was nobody there on that whole end. When you go into Fort Laramie, you kind of go in and it makes a loop all the way around. And some of the commanders or captains or majors or whatever they were, quarters, houses are towards the right, and then the troops' quarters are to the left, like a big building. And this gravel drive makes a loop all the way around. And so people come in, and it wasn't very crowded either. This was like a middle of the week thing. Like, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. And we went to the right, and there were a lot of people went to the left, and there wasn't a whole lot of people around, and those that were in and out of the houses, looking at the antiques in the houses, the way they were set up, and I didn't see anyone in that area except for the two of us.
How many were I read your email on the air?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, when you first sent it.
Episode 54, if I recall.
Right, and the question that I had that I didn't get to ask you about, how many wagons were there? How many people? Was it dozens? Was it hundreds?
Oh, there were definitely dozens. I mean, as far back as I could see, I would say I could easily see 40 people and probably a dozen wagons, but they seemed like they kept going, but they kind of faded out in a mist. Like how fog, where you can't really see very far. The further you look, the harder it is to distinguish lines.
Right.
It was that.
How do you feel now? I mean, looking back, do you think it's easy to say maybe it was my imagination, but
no.
What I mean is, how do you feel now? Do you think that you stepped into some type of time warp?
I do.
Alternate reality? You just stepped across the line momentarily?
I do. I kind of think it was a stepped across the time thing. I don't know. I can't really say it would be a parallel time because we're a different civilization, so to speak, now than then. So it's kind of like maybe I stepped back in the past.
Yeah,
because they were in period of time.
Yeah, that's the way that that I felt after I read the email, was that you stepped back in time. I don't think that it didn't have the feel like something appeared in front of you, ghosts.
No.
No, I don't think it was.
And I've seen ghosts before. No.
Right.
I live on the battlefield. Trust me, I see them all the time. This was not that.
And
this was completely different.
Yeah. Plus, you had the temperature change.
Yes, and the light, because it was broad daylight, about 1:00 in the afternoon, and not a cloud in the sky. And then all of a sudden, it's dark like dusk. Darker than a cloud would make it on a sunny day. It was dusk.
Right. I had an experience once with a friend. We were driving in a car. He's driving, and this was in Pasadena, and he got lost. And I'm like, what do you Pasadena's a very small city. And every street there. It doesn't take much to learn the city, and you can't get lost. You have the mountains on your left. I mean, the mountains to the north, and then everything else is south, and that's it. You always know where you are in Pasadena. And this is a guy that was born and raised there, and he got lost. And I just remember this thing. He was like scared. I was like, what are you talking about, man? We're going to wherever but he got lost. And he said later that he didn't know where he was in Pasadena, that it didn't look the same to him, and he got completely lost. and I look back at that experience, and I've often wondered, did he just go into some kind of zone? How do you get lost when you're driving down a road? And maybe it was... Yeah, maybe it was some kind of, experience like you're describing there.
And it's very likely. I mean, like I said, I've seen things all my life and heard things and stuff like that. But that was a one timer there. I mean, never since or before. And I still don't know what happened. I just know it was cool. Yeah.
Right. Have you? What do you do? You discuss this with friends, or do you just keep this to yourself?
Oh, no, I talk to anybody, friends or whatever that listen. They know me from all my life. I don't know. Like I said, I have seen things. I have called people and said, look, I've had a dream about you last night. Don't go wherever they're going, or take a different road. And usually it turns out that if they went the way that they had intended, there was an accident, or something like that. So that people tend to listen to what I say, and they believe me because they know from experience that it's that way. I don't know what to tell you.
You said that you lived on a battlefield and you see ghosts all the time. What did you mean by that?
Well, my house is set on the battlefield. It was the first battle of the Revolutionary War, at Kucher's Bridge. And I live on the battlefield. So, yeah, I see them all the time. Occasionally, they're just like fast-moving things out the corner of your eye. There's a little short, bright white one that runs around the backyard in the broad daylight. That's what's real interesting. Let's see. I've seen.
Give us your best story. Give us the one story that stands out. The one creepy one. Give us your best story. Share it with us.
Oh, okay. Well, I can give you one creepy. Dave and I were talking. Dave had worked with a guy who really, really wanted to see ghosts. He's like, "What can I do?" And I'm like, "Whatever you do, tell him don't mess with a Ouija board. You'd be inviting things in that he has no idea what he's going to get. You know, have some kind of control of it. Don't let him do that." So he told him, and the guy was like, "Well, I don't know what I want to do." And so Dave told him, he goes, "Well, look," he said, "my old lady, she's mostly Native American. You hunt. Why don't you try to connect with the animal's spirit that you hunt? Thank him for his life and his spirit that you know you're going to partake of. And maybe that will at least get you started." So this was a month or two after that. We were standing out on the breezeway, and I asked him, I said, "Well, did you talk to that guy at work? And did he find anything? Did he see anything? Did he do anything? What's what?" And just as Dave started to answer me, on the back door, you would have had to have taken your fist and hit it as loud and as hard as you could. It was like bam, 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 bam on the back door that was like 4 feet from us. And the thing is, the storm door was broken, and so the latch wasn't holding it up all the way. So when you opened the storm door, it kind of drug on the concrete.
Right.
And so there's no way anybody could have even reached the door to bang on it without us hearing the storm door. And the storm door never opened, and we turned around and opened the door, and there was nothing there. And it was in the daylight when that happened, too. But that was really kind of creepy because it was so loud and right on cue.
I'm looking over at Twitter, and it says, "Keep Debbie going. This is great."
I've been talking to him. I told him I was going to call in because you'd read my email about the time thing, and then you read my question to Solaris. And then I got to give a shout out to our space boy. I won his CD this week. I was like, I got to call.
I've got a bunch of autographed Space Boy CDs here. We'll be giving out over the next couple of weeks.
Well, you can bypass me on that because I got one from Space Boy coming. He twittered earlier, said it's in the mail today.
Right on. What is this? You know what? I got a couple calls coming in. I'm going to ignore them, Debbie. It's all about you right now. What is this light ball that you said that you're seeing during the day?
Light ball?
You said you had a friend.
The little white light thing. I don't know what it is. It's about I'm going to say 3 foot high. No taller than that. And it darts across the backyard. I've seen it twice in the backyard, and I've seen it once in the side yard. And that time it kind of looked like it had stopped up against a tree. But then, and I looked, I kind of looked down and I looked back up. It's one of those things you catch it, and then you look away and look back, and it's gone. But it was the same thing, whatever it is. I don't know.
I have so many people that tell me, friends of the show that tell me about, this exact thing. I have never seen one. I
Really?
Can't wait for the day that actually happens, where I see a glowing ball dance across the yard, or, or through the house, whatever. I've never seen one.
One night I got up go to the bathroom, and I told him, just what you do sometimes. And I got up, and as I went around the foot of the bed, there was something really, really tall, and not glowing bright white, but lightly glowing. And I'd say it was about 7 foot high, right at the foot of my bed. And I was like half asleep, and I'm like, excuse me. And I walked around, I went on to the bathroom, and when I come back, it was gone. But like, I wasn't really awake. But I was awake enough to see that somebody was there and move my walk to walk around them. That was different. But I did see 2 full body apparitions. One was an older black gentleman walking kind of like down my driveway, but not really. And went to see, maybe it was a delivery or something, but there was nobody there. And the other one had a glass window in my front door, and when I walked by with a basket of laundry, I looked out the window, and I thought, no, can't be. And I set the basket down. I went over to the door and looked out, and it was gone too. But what I saw was, and this was in July or August a few years ago, it was like 100 degrees that day, so hot. And I saw definitely a Yankee Northern soldier walking down the road, and he was booking. And he had the full blue long sleeve shirt and pants on. It was like, I don't know if it was wool or what, but it looked like that type of heavy material. And he did not have a gun, but he did have a brown strap across his shoulder with a gold-colored belt thing on it. But there was nothing attached to it, like you'd see some guy wearing a man bag or whatever today.
Right.
It wasn't that, and it was, like I said, it was 100 degrees. Nobody would be wearing long shirt and long pants. And he was walking in the grass, not on a good ways over in the grass, kind of like he would have had to go around some poles, light poles and stuff, where he was walking, rather than if he'd been right on the edge of the road or on the shoulder. But you got to remember, too, the road I live on, it was an old stagecoach line from Philly to Baltimore and Washington. So it would have been the path they would have walked. But it was kind of a shock because, like I said, the battle that took place here was a Revolutionary War, and that was a Civil War uniform.
Right. Well, one of the things that, really freaks me out, especially when you're talking about the East Coast and the South, those battles were vicious, and
yes.
And we're talking hand-to-hand combat, guys that died on the battlefield by the thousands, and potentially buried right there too. You just don't know. The Civil War being 150 years ago now, and the Revolutionary War 250 years ago, but there must be spirits all over the place. I mean, just everywhere. And
I think so.
Guys that died of very painful, gruesome death. It's one thing no death is in battle is good, but hand-to-hand combat where these guys are just and no medication or anything just die where you lay kind of thing.
And even if they didn't die instantly, they died from infection.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, yes. Right. And there must be spirits all over the place. And you don't know when you buy a house or build a house or whatever, potentially what you're building it on. And they're just, it must be everywhere. Yeah, it totally freaks me out. It really does.
It's trippy, but it's cool. We get along. Pretty much, sometimes if they get a little loud, it's like, y'all quiet down. I got to go to bed now. Leave me alone.
Right. So what should we name Call-In Thursdays really quick before I let you go? What should we name it?
I sent you Twitter's Time Tangled Thursdays.
Oh, that was you?
That's what I said.
Okay. All right. And last before I let you go, favorite Steve Martin movie? quick.
Oh, I love The Jerk.
Yeah, I know.
It cracked me up.
Yeah, I know. You know, with The Jerk, for me, I know this is some paranormal show, conspiracy show, UFO show. The best part of The Jerk is the gas station, the whole living in the bathroom, and when the sniper is shooting from across the street. These cans are defective. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The one part I liked was when he got his name in the phone book, and he's like, "I'm finally somebody."
Yeah, finally somebody. Hey, the first time you got your name in the phone book, you felt the same way, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can relate. You can.
Absolutely. Hey, Debbie, thank you for calling in. It's good to put.
No problem.
It's good to put the voice behind all of the
MC
email.
Ryder.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I was going to tell you on a ghost story that didn't actually happen in me, but I think it was pretty cool. It was my grandfather, and it was in West Virginia. And he was late at night. He was walking home, and he was going over like this small bridge, not a highway bridge. It was just a walk bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And he got stopped. There was a barrel of burning bones up on its edge, and he could see down in it. And
excuse me, a barrel of burning bones?
Bones. You know, like femur and ulna and humerus, bones.
Human bones? Human?
Yeah, well, they were bones. I don't know.
Okay.
And they were on fire. But the barrel was up on its edge. And when he went to step left, the barrel rolled to the left. So he went to step right, and the barrel rolled to the right. And so every time he went to try to go around it, it would stop him. So he did like a fake left-right thing and got around it, took off running because it scared him. And just as he hit that bridge, he heard a baby cry, and then he really took off running. And the next day they found a baby dead underneath the bridge. Somebody had given birth to a baby and left it there. And he was always felt like that if he'd have paid attention, that was probably a warning that he maybe could save that baby's life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, on that note, Debbie.
That's about all you can deal with.
Oh, wow. Well, for me, and I say it all the time, but for me, it's always the creepiest things, the scariest things for me are always ghosts of children, EVPs of children, dolls, things that are identified with children. To me, are always. I don't know why. I can deal with adult ghosts. I can deal with that. I can deal with the soldier walking across. But when it comes to children, I think all of us, it's the scariest, the zone that none of us want to go into.
I think it's partly because the same thing in life. I mean, when someone is older and they pass away, you go, well, they're older. It was kind of expected. They may or may not have been ill, but they were older, so you just kind of accept it. But when an unfortunate thing happens and someone dies young, it's hard to accept. And so I think that young ghosts are a reminder of that, and that's why it's so hard to deal with. That's just my opinion.
No, totally. And when I hear EVPs of children laughing or crying or talking, and knowing that they're on the other side and this is their spirit, I mean, it's not so much sad, it's just creepy, and I don't know, it's what affects me the most. It's just scary.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
Thank you, Debbie. All the best. And
Jimmy, really love the show. I went back to the beginning and listened all the way through, and I'm usually in bed by now, but I usually catch up on YouTube. So.
Well, we got them all posted up this week. Give my best to Dave, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I do listen. I do enjoy the show. I love your guests, and all the great people out there in Twitterland. I've joined them in the last few weeks. I'm learning how, and got to change my egg over to something.
Yeah. You've got
get
to.
teased about that.
No.
Yeah.
You've got to. I mean, this show,
Yeah, I know.
we've been very, very blessed, and the family that has grown. It's just a blessing. It is just. I say it every night, but it is. It's just humbling that everybody gets it and everybody gets along. We just all just have fun together, and it's
great.
just amazing.
It's great.
Absolutely amazing.
It's great. I wish I could have been in the desert with you. I sent you a picture I painted.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that night. Let's see, the call-in night, I think it was. I sent you a tweet. It had a picture of a desert that I painted.
Retweet it. That's hard to say. Retweet it. Let me see it again.
Okay.
All right, Debbie.
Yeah, I'll send a couple.
All the best.
All right. Well, you have a great night. All the best to you. And I guess maybe I'll talk to you again.
I look forward to your next email. Thank you, Debbie.
Be blessed.
Debbie in Delaware. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Good night. Call in Thursday. That does open up the lines. Thank you, Debbie. 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in, by the way. Fade to Black 14. Lives on a battlefield on the East Coast. I'm serious. That stuff is everywhere. Everywhere is a battlefield in the South and the North. And the violent, you just have to know that stuff is walking around all the time. It's one of the things that just trips me out about the East Coast. We don't deal with that out here. Well, we have everywhere is an Indian burial site out here. That's always the rumors. Fade to Black. This is Call In Thursday. Shoot me an email to jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. What was I talking about before everybody started calling? Oh, 1991 VG. And I was talking about John Teter as well. 323-825-5045. I'm going to take a quick break. Be taking your calls. This is Jimmy Church, Bespoke Radio for the masses. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
This is William from La Crescenta, and I listen to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Jimmy Church.
My name is Alan, and I listen to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
He's always giving it to you straight.
JimmyChurchRadio.com on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio, the Revolution.
Oh, yeah. Fade to Black. Okay, got another call coming in. Let's just keep it going. Fade to Black. Oh, I clicked, and there it goes. Call right back. That was a 702 number, by the way. I wonder who that was. Isn't that Las Vegas? Fade to Black, Bespoke Radio for the masses. Phone lines are open, 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in, Fade to Black 14. Back to, I apologize, whoever that was, 702. Just call right back. And I'll pick it up right away. John Teter is nobody's been busted. I was, when Nancy called in, that's where my mind was last. Nobody's been busted. And if you haven't been busted, then it's not a hoax. And what I was starting to touch upon, and I was going to bring up with Nancy, is this. When you are doing graphics for something and you need to make your transfer letters, and it's called Chromatech, and if you need to make that, this is what needs to have, this is what has to happen. And this is why I'm tripping that nobody's been busted. Just to get that lettering on that time machine, which is all over the place, you have to first do your typesetting. You have to design it. Then you have to go and have it photographed. You have to create a negative. And then with that inner negative, then you create your transfer. So you're already at 5 different stages. One of them, or 2 of them, involve, well, first off, a computer. But second is a service where you're going to have to go and have that made. Okay? Then you bring it back and you have to rub it off and put it on the model. There's so many different stages there that somebody should be able to come up with evidence saying, hey, I made the labels for that time machine. I'm the guy. Here it is. Here's the evidence. Nobody's been busted. In that little small stage, right there. You also have the expense, the money that you have to spend on that. And you have to do it every single time, every single little label. Everything's got to get made. It's not cheap. And that's just one stage. You have to build the time machine itself. You have to come up with that. You have to come up with the drawings, the cutaway drawings that were made of the time machine that were published online. Do you know what it takes to do a cutaway drawing and to make it perfect? When I say perfect, yeah, the illustration itself has to look good. But that's not what I'm talking about. It has to be correct. It has to represent something. That costs money. There's an artist involved in that. It's not something that was just thrown together. Where's the drawing? Who did the drawing? Why hasn't that person been busted? All of these little pieces about Teter, it's a bunch of things that are strung along in a row. And it's like 4 or 5 core elements to the Teter story that nobody's been busted on. It's incredible to me. And then you go to the next stage. Let's talk about the computer knowledge and everything that was involved in that. Where are those guys? How come they haven't been busted? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. Who's calling?
This is Jack from Salado, Texas.
Jack, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, what city? Salado. Say that again?
Salado.
Salado. I'm writing this down. I've never heard of Salado. How do you spell it?
Salado.
Like it should be. Salado.
Yeah.
Where's
Salado?
Where's Salado at?
It's right between Austin and Waco.
Oh, I got you. Between Austin and Waco. Okay.
Right.
All right. So what's going on tonight, Jack? How are you?
I've been doing good. Been listening to your show, and I've been talking Teter and paranormal and some different stuff. And
go
that again.
All right. No, I was going to ask you, Teter. Obviously, you called in and you have a question, and we're going to talk. But what do you think about the Teter story, and how long have you been following it?
Well, I've been following Teter literally since he has been posting, or did post, I should say.
Right.
Right, exactly. But you're right. No one has disproven the story. I know a lot of people don't think it's true. But then again, no one's really disproven it. And you've come up with good things like the drawings and things like that. They would have to be disproven somehow.
Exactly. There's somewhere, and I've said this before. This is the funny thing about it. Somewhere there's a room full, if it's a hoax, right? If it's a hoax. Somewhere somebody has got a room full of stuff. The time machine, the computers, all of the manuals, the technical writing, somewhere, all of that's the films that would have needed to have been generated to create everything. Somewhere, somebody has got it. And nobody has come forward with not a shred, not a piece of paper, nothing. Nobody's ever been busted. And to me,
nothing to disprove it.
Not a single thing. And also, Jack, do you remember when in Gulf Breeze, when all of those UFO photographs were coming out of Gulf Breeze, Florida, right?
Right. Yes, I do.
And they were amazing photographs, and we all loved them, and we all wanted those to be real. We did. Now, and a lot of researchers got involved with that, with those photographs and triangulating distances, and there was a lot of people that backed that story. But then that house was sold, and the person that bought the house found in the attic, and I believe it was in the garage or somewhere in the house, was the model that was used in the photographs.
Of the photographs. I do remember that.
Right. Now, that's how you get busted. You can't hide it forever. You know, you get somebody's going to get caught. You remember the movie Goodfellas? Now, that was based on a true story. And and here they do the heist. Everybody's
Danny
involved.
DeVito?
Yeah, not Danny DeVito, but anyway. My point is that the night before statute of limitations was up, and they would have gotten away clean on all that on that robbery, the Brinks truck. But somebody got caught. Somebody talked, and that's what happens. Eventually, if there's a circle, somebody's going to get caught. Somebody's going to get busted. Somebody's going to be angry at somebody else. Whatever. Somebody's going to rat somebody out. But with the Teter story, nobody's been busted. And they have tried, and nobody's been busted.
That is true. Now, I've read on a couple of different posts in a couple of different places where people have claimed to be Teter that's come back. And, of course, it went nowhere. They couldn't prove one way or the other. But now, when John Teter first started posting online, he wasn't the first so-called time traveler to post. There were others before him that claimed to be time travelers, but they all pretty much got shot down pretty quick.
Yep.
Right. But the Teter story held up for a lot of different reasons. He just literally, like you're saying, he almost would have to have a team of people behind him with everything he seemed to know.
There's too much information there. You have science, you have computers, you have the military, you have certainly the theories of time travel that are applied, and then you have the hardcore stuff for me, which when we look at the evidence, it's the manual, it's the schematics, it's the description of the time travel, the time machine itself.
The time machine, right?
Yep. And you look at where in a military manual. I mean, if that was faked, then it just seems like somebody would be able to come forward and say, "Hey, this was used here. This is the actual machine." It was, it looked military to me. It looked military issue. It had that whole feel to it. So then you have somebody with the knowledge of the military and how the military would use different descriptions of switches and how it's laid out. The whole thing just is too complex. It's just too much. It's too real.
And in a way, he was the only one that was literally physical evidence. Even though it was online, those had to be drawings. So therefore, they had to be physical.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly. And they've never been found.
Never.
Because he said they always stayed in the time machine. The manuals never left.
Yep.
That was one of his statements.
So did you have Jack, did you have a question?
Well, I was just wanted to comment on the John Teter.
Okay.
Situation. I know there was. You were talking. I guess it's been a while back, but you were saying the 5100 computer, to where it had a problem, or it didn't have a problem, but they had a problem in the future.
Right.
And but IBM was trying to cover up a problem where it could rewrite the code or write new code.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Exactly. Now, in that same posting on that same date, he said he had dropped several little hints. Matter of fact, he said he dropped 3 hints that no one had caught before. Now, do you know what he was talking about there?
No, do you?
Well, one of them might be, there was a post, someone claimed, or, well, let's just say a user asked him the question, does anything happen in the year 2012 that I heard that the world ends on that date? And he basically says that nothing causes the world to end on 2/12, even though there are unusual things that happen in 2/12, which there was. But the last sentence on there, he said, perhaps you're familiar with the story of the Red Sea and the Egyptians.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, there were people who's been looking in the Red Sea and who have claimed to have found chariot wheels, human bones. Matter of fact, there was a documentary made in 2011. Now, that claimed that a group of scientists claimed that they had found chariot wheels, and it's even on YouTube as far as the, what do you call it, the trailer to it. Now, I've never seen the documentary myself, but they filmed chariot wheels. Matter of fact, one of the bones they excavated prior to that was taken to the osteo department at Stockholm, and it was confirmed that it was a male femur bone from antiquity that had been fossilized since it's been under the water for so long. But really, that story really didn't happen, or it really didn't come about news-wise until the year 212.
Right.
I remember Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero, reported on it in 212.
Right.
And there's and a couple of different other type shows, or a different, let's just say the other show, also, I believe, reported on it in 212. So that's when a lot of people really did find out about it, even though the discovery was made before 212 and had been reported on. Yet it really didn't make a lot of national news.
One of the things... Well, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Well, until 212, but go ahead.
Well, one of the things about Teter's story, that when he was talking specifically about this timeline, this world line that we're in now, he was very specific about China and Russia. And by the way, you should go over to Twitter right now. Everybody is posting some Twitter. Teter, the cutaway drawing that I was referring to a few minutes ago. It's very complex, but is that nobody thought that Russia would have the power to be in a nuclear war, not a nuclear war, but any war. They were broke. The Soviet Union had fallen apart, and Russia was a non-contender. But here we are today. Russia's here to play ball now, and things are heating up right when he said it would. And it's kind of a bizarre thing, because back then, if you're going to create a story, and everybody, I see all the phone calls coming in. I will be getting to those. Okay, just to let everybody know, be patient.
But he did say the year 2015, right?
Yeah, 2015. And here we are. To write about that in 1999, it was like a crazy thought, because everything had fallen apart over in Asia with the Soviet Union. But here today, it's a different party today, and we are really looking at some crazy stuff going down. And it's a frightening thought that somebody would be able to look. No prophecies. Nobody's ever really prophesized anything that's ever really come true. We've always, if you know what I mean. It's But here we are with Teter and this crazy story, and we're watching it unfold. So yeah, it's pretty nutty. Let's hope he's wrong, But
right, exactly. Yeah, no one wants to see a nuclear war, but he's got the timeline or world line, you might say. It's pretty scary.
It is. It's totally scary. Now Teter is supposed to surface in 2014, as you know. So we'll see if he pops up. But I got to say, Jack, thank you for the phone call, man, and I'm glad you're listening to the show. I really am. Thank you for that.
You bet, Jimmy. Take care, man.
All the best, Jack.
You bet.
Jack from Salado, Texas. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going through the phone calls because it is Call In Thursday. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Wellington, Kansas.
Wellington, Kansas?
Yeah, you remember me? Jeremy.
Yeah, I got you. I write down everybody when they call in. I just write it down.
Oh, okay.
I just write it down. Okay, so
this is Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, what's shaking, man?
Not much. Me and my old lady decided we could go park out in the country at night and just sit out and watch the stars. Seriously.
Oh, awesome.
We're just sitting out here watching the stars. There's supposed to be a meteor shower, but the moon's kind of messing it up because it's so bright.
What, Jeremy, I know you have a question and you have something to say, but what do you think about John Teter?
Man, I started hearing about Teter a little bit back when I started listening to Art Bell.
Right.
But to be real honest with you, Jimmy, I didn't really quite understand all that. I know that he's a time traveler from like the year 2036 or something like that.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes.
And he's supposedly living in present day like this time, right?
He did a drive-by. Yeah, he did a drive-by to 1999. The story...
okay.
Yeah, he appeared in 1999. 1999. There, he had faxed Art Bell's show a fax.
Okay.
And contacted Coast to Coast. Now, and then he started posting on some different forums back in 1999 and 2000. And his story was this: that he had to go back to the early 1970s. He had to go back.
Yeah.
He was in the military, and he had to go back, grab a computer, and take it back to 2036, because in the future, after a nuclear war, an exchange had happened between the United States and Russia. Russia had gotten into a nuclear exchange with China. But the bottom line was this: the United States was and the United States was in disarray and had been divided up into different smaller states and republics. And he lived in Florida. And anyway, there was a problem with software in the computers in 2036, and the only way they could fix it was with this Hewlett-Packard 1500 computer. So that was his mission.
No way.
And he had to go back. But he stopped by in 1999 and 2000 to visit his family and also to see his younger self. So that was the story. And then he said one day, I think he was
incredible.
Yeah, and he was here for about 3 months. And then one day he said, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. And he signed off, and he was never heard from again. That's the trippy
you're supposed to have his lawyer on, aren't you?
Yeah, I had his lawyer on, Larry Haber. I've had him on the show a couple of times. Yeah.
But then you were supposed to actually have Teter on, weren't you?
He made a promise. He said that when Teter comes back, he's going to do it on this show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
If he does, dude, that's going to be a story.
Looking forward to it, man. Well,
So
you know,
am I.
well, I've been following Teter for so long, and
I know you're a big Teter fan.
Well,
I heard you talk about him.
With my interest in it, it goes a little bit deeper because of my knowledge of graphic design and graphics and model making, and I was always fascinated with how he pulled that off, because I know what it takes to make a model. You know, it's just difficult, Jeremy. Either we bust the guy and we put the story to bed and we all laugh and go, man, it was a great story and it was a fascinating ride or it's real. You know?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm coming from.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
I hope it is real, actually.
Hey,
but if it is, there's some bad shit. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some bad stuff that's gone down in the future.
Yeah. Well, he says that the future is not that bad, that we learn to love family again and we start growing, you know. So, hey, he said it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's actually okay. He said that he can't stand the food here in our timeline because the food in the future is all fresh. That we grow.
Really?
Yeah. So
what's he saying? The McDonald's food ain't fresh?
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, thank you, man. And I'll talk to you next week. Brother. All the best, man. Take a picture of a UFO tonight under the stars. Give my best to your wife.
I will, brother.
I'll talk to you. Thank you,
brother.
Jeremy.
All right, bro.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
Let's go right into the next one. David Cruz is with us. How are you, DC?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
Is everything good?
Everything's all good. Enjoying the show.
It's always, this is my favorite night of the week, man, Thursdays. You know, it's so funny where we can go and interview and have these great guests on the show, and that's all cool. But you know what? It's about the Fade to Black family, isn't it?
Fade or not.
Fade or not, man. And you've been here since the beginning, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
So what's going on tonight?
Not much. Just hanging out, with the fellow faders and checking out the show. But yeah, about that email last night.
Which one?
The one about the CERN.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to throw it right back at you. I kind of commented on it last night, but where are you coming from with that?
Well, it's more of like, it's spooky, man. I was watching Ancient Aliens, and they were showing that episode, and the way that, actually they said that they were talking about making it bigger.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, man, if they do make a black hole, that's going to be just wild. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, I know there's all, a lot of good come out of it and everything, but what if they can't close that puppy?
Yeah, exactly. There's that. But also, since we're talking about Teter tonight, there's the Teter connection to CERN is another crazy part of the Teter story. And it goes right back to that email of yours last night.
Right, about those black holes in the box, right?
Yep. It's just, again, I wish you could have been there with us out at Contact in the Desert when Walter and Rick and Spaceboy and Sherilyn and Rita, we were all in the hotel room just sitting, having a very long, what's the word I want to say? I got a little emotional. It was a very intense conversation about Teter. And the one thing, there's a lot of one things about Teter, but the Teter story grabbed hold of everybody on planet Earth, it seemed, at one time, and it hasn't gone away. The fascination is still there. And
for a while.
Yeah, and if you are new to the Teter story, I had somebody email me about 6 months ago, and she said, Jimmy, I'd never heard about John Teter, and I got to tell you, you've caused me to go down this rabbit hole for the last 2 weeks. I cannot stop studying it and researching and going all over the web with Teter. This is absolutely the most amazing story ever. And that was somebody that wasn't exposed to it back in 1999 or 2000. The story holds water, and it's fascinating. And I think with everybody, like yourself, once you start getting into Teter, what you're hoping for is to uncover the mystery. You know, that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping to get to the end of the line and that you can figure it out and go, aha, all right. But what you find out is as you take one step backwards, you're taking 2 steps forward. And you think you've unraveled something. And there's a couple of guys that have got some videos out, a lot of websites out there that say that they have the answer and go and get to the bottom line with all of that. And then you find out.
Sorry, go ahead.
You find out when you get to the end that you're right back at the beginning. That's what you find out with Teter. You don't find out anything. You never solve the mystery.
I know, it just keeps going. But what I was going to say, though, is it's funny because it's actually because of John Teter that I started listening to your show because a while back ago, the first time I heard about John Teter was on Art Bell.
Right.
And this was, it wasn't when he had his serious show. It was actually one of the YouTube videos. And I was just like, man, that's so cool. I have to get more of this John Teter. And I was looking all over the place, and I knew Art he wasn't on the air no more. And I found Dark Matter, and I got one of your shows, and I went to YouTube. I got caught up on the John Teter show, and I just been listening ever since. Man, it's just been fascinating. So.
Once again, John Teter's at fault. It's John Teter's fault. Too funny. Hey, what you should when you after we're done, have you been watching Twitter tonight? Have you seen Walter's post that he's doing here? You
mean the schematics and all that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been catching everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everybody listening right now, just go to @JChurchRadio. Go follow us on Twitter, #DMRadioNet, and look at the Teter pictures that are posted. And I'm looking at the cutaway drawing of the time machine here that is taken from the manual. And I am sorry, you look at that picture, and that the what you're looking at, what you're looking at, this is a pen and ink drawing that technical illustration is what it's called, actually, technical illustration cutaway. And take a look at this picture. This thing is so complex and so correct, and when you look at the picture and then go back to the photograph of the time machine that he has, there's a few of them published, and look at the photograph, go back to this picture. To be able to do this, to correlate the two, to make sure that what you're seeing in the drawing is the exact same thing that you're looking at in the photograph, it's beyond description. I don't know how somebody pulled this off unless it's real. And if
it's a lot of work.
Yep, it's a lot of work. I can't even imagine. I used to do this stuff. I used to do this exact work when I worked at Bell Laboratories. And it is complex, and it takes weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And you have to modify. And when you're doing a drawing like this, you're with an engineer. The engineer is telling you, and you're looking at other drawings, and to pull off a cutaway like this, it's extraordinary. If it's ever revealed as a hoax in the future, and I meet the guy, and the guy just turns out to be some doofus, I pulled this off, I'll shoot myself. I'm serious.
I don't think so, man. I think this is the real deal.
I really do. I really do. Nobody. I had somebody contact me once and said that they had a couple of friends that were engineers in the military, and they were painstakingly going through every military manual for any type of field device like this that was shaped like this. Not guns or, but different pieces of military hardware, just to see if it would pop up in a manual somewhere, and it was some other piece of hardware that was used as an excuse for the time machine. That they used some piece of military hardware and called it a time machine and posted it online, and they got away with it, and nobody knew about it. Can't find it. Can't find this drawing in any military manual out there. Couldn't do it. And they had spent about a month doing it. They were trying to uncover it, because it is such a fantastic drawing. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of techie by trade also. I know all you guys are all techies too. But one of my classes was technical drawing, and definitely that is just too scaled down. It's down to the.
Oh, did we lose you? It just went click. That was DC. Ah, yeah. Wow. Absolutely went blank. Let's. Wow, that was trippy. All right, let's. With that. Oh, that was absolutely bizarre. With that, I'm going to have to reset the phone lines here. Let's go ahead and take a break. It's a good spot to take a break, actually. This is Fade to Black, only on the Dark Matter Radio Network. It is Call-In Thursday. Bespoke radio for the masses. 323-825-5045 is the call-in number. Dave, if you want to call back, we'll go ahead and do that. 323-825-5045. Fade to Black 14 is the Skype number. This is Fade to Black, only on the Dark Matter Radio Network. I'm Jimmy Church. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will, on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
He's always giving it to you straight.
JimmyChurchRadio.com. On the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
On the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Oh, yeah. Got the phone lines reset. We're good. Oh, that was bizarre. I don't know what happened, Dave. It just went click. That's some NSA stuff for you. Watch a screen go blank like that for no reason. Fade to Black, 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black 14. Shoot me an email to jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. I haven't even checked. Oh, man. I feel bad now. Haven't checked email tonight. Oh, no. Guilty as charged. Let's just go right into the next call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Steve from Bluefield, Virginia again.
Hey, Steve from Bluefield, Virginia. How are you, sir?
What's up, Jimmy Church?
It wouldn't be a night without you, man.
Cool.
I
was listening. I had to come on there and I heard you talking about Teter, man.
Teter's a trip, isn't he? I'll talk about Teter. This is the thing. I have no problem, Steve. I'll do Teter 5 nights a week, 3 hours a night, and we would never get to the end of it. There's so much to. Could you imagine if we just sat, you and I, Steve, just one night, just reading Teter's post? We just started at the beginning, question and answer. You couldn't get it done. Have you ever tried?
No. Lord, no. I've been probably since about maybe I got hooked on him in about 2003, something like that, when I finally got hooked on to him.
Right.
And I deal with a lot of technical drawings too in my work. I build big gearboxes, and I have to deal with like the ISO 9000 stuff for CNC mills and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was looking at that stuff, and that's when it blew me away. I was like, if it's a hoax, it's not a one-man rodeo either.
No, it ain't. It ain't. It ain't.
There's no way. You're looking at a team. If it is a hoax, you're looking at a team of individuals that put that together. One clown didn't put that together.
It's one of the things that tripped me out, and you stirred my memory. Back in the day, when all of this was when it was just hitting the web every single day, and I couldn't wait to just go and get onto the forums and get home and open up my laptop and sign online to see what was new and fresh. And back in the day, I remember the first time that one of the photographs popped up. And I clicked on that, and I looked at it, and something told me when my eyes first hit it that was real. And I think the first photograph that I saw was the picture of the time machine in the car. I think that's what it was, the first one that I saw.
Yeah.
And I looked at that, and something struck me. I had nothing to tell me that it was, anything else but just a JPEG on the web. But something told me when I first saw it that was real, and I've been in it ever since.
I've been back and forth with it. I've fought with it for years, and I come to a conclusion that it almost has to be real.
Exactly.
I mean, it almost has to be. I mean, there's if it's not real, just like you were saying with the guys that robbed, there would be dead bodies floating everywhere. There would be bullet holes in people's heads when that stuff came out. Straight up.
Yep.
There would be bodies in the river.
Yes.
You don't divulge that kind of stuff, and heads don't roll.
Right. There was another, I don't know if you would remember this, but there was another phenomena. Certainly the Fadernauts, somebody out there is going to know about this, but I will stir the pot on this and do it again. There was another thing that happened about that same time in I'm going to guess here and say 98, like right before Teter happened, was a company called the American Computer Corporation, ACC. I believe that's the acronym. I believe that's what it was. And that they had alien technology that from Roswell that they were using in their computer chips. Okay? And you could go to the ACC website. Everything was laid out, the descriptions and how they built it, and they were going to their new chip was coming out, and it was complex and it was crazy, and it took everybody's imagination by storm. And also there were forums on, I think it was on the ACC website. I'd have to go back and check, and I would certainly want to do a show on this. There were forums there, and you could go in and ask questions and talk about the alien technology, and the president of the company would post, and there was different. But eventually, they got busted. Okay, it unraveled. The story unraveled and everything. But for about a year and a half, the ACC story was an amazing thing to follow on the web. And by the way, I was watching Twitter. They said, Steve, you've got to join us on Twitter. Are you on Twitter?
No, I really am computer illiterate.
Oh man!
I'm just a country boy from Virginia. I've got a phone. You know what my cell phone is? My cell phone is still a flip phone. Okay,
right.
That's what I'm talking to you on, is a flip phone. I don't have no iPhone, none of that stuff. I got a little flip phone.
You got to come hang out with everybody on Twitter, man. We would
But
love.
I look at it on. I look at the Twitter feed
Right.
on my iPad and and look at what people say. But yeah, I need to post on there. Yeah.
But the ACC, American Computer Corporation, that story, as cool as it was, and it was fun to read, but everybody on the web was on a mission to bust that story, and it eventually did, and it went away, and it's gone. Okay, there are, I was going to say hundreds of thousands, probably 1 million people in the world right now that are reading about Teter right now online. I mean, it's that big of a, and nobody can bust. Nobody's been able to blow this out of the water. It hasn't happened. And
and some of the biggest names have took a swing at it.
Everybody's taken a swing at it.
Everybody has took a swing at it.
Yep.
And nobody has been able to put it down.
Nope.
I mean, no one has been able to flat say, hey, it's just bull.
Well,
nobody's been able to do that.
See, check this out. This is another crazy thing. And Steve, I've got a couple other calls coming in, but I'm going to stay with you for a minute here. Okay, is this Larry Haber, the attorney? Now we have a name, right? We've got Larry Haber. We know he's a real person, and we've seen him online on videos and movies and so forth. So we know Larry Haber's a real guy. Then we have Oliver Williams. May not be his real name, but he's out there, and he's the guy that has been maintaining. He's the webmaster for JohnTeter.com. Those are two real names, real people. And now we've got a direction to go in. Haven't been able to bust these guys. Haven't been able to. There were rumors that Keith Rowland, who runs the network here, Dark Matter, that he was involved. His name has been involved, and that he wasn't involved, and that he was clean. But there are names out. Every time somebody has come forward and taken shots at real people, they've come up dry. You know, and Larry Haber's clean. He's an entertainment attorney out of Florida. Oh, really? He's an entertainment attorney, and he lives in Florida. Well, that looks like a prime suspect right there. Oh, his brother, his son's a computer expert. Oh, well, there you go. It's all coming to... No! They haven't been able to, they haven't been able to bust him or anybody else. It's a crazy, crazy story.
It's out there, man. It's out there. And what about your show last night with James Fox and M-Boys last night? Yeah, I can't wait for 701 to come out.
Man, did you go watch the clips from the movie that I was talking about? Was that?
Oh yeah.
Was that?
I went and watched the clips, and then I went and watched. I pulled up the. Have you seen the interview where he just flat dresses down the former governor of Arizona?
Yep.
For the joke that he pulled, during the whole Phoenix Lights thing.
Right.
I listened to that, and I was like, wear him out. That dude, he really got me wound up with what he did over that mess.
Yeah, Fife Symington was his name, the governor of Arizona. Yeah, James and Tracy. Tracy Torme. Those two guys, and James especially, I really look up to James. James has really been pushing the UFO envelope for a long time, and he's really, really kept his foot on the gas. And I just respect him a lot. And this new movie, I think they just want to make sure that this knowledge gets out to as many people as possible. It's kind of like the shotgun principle. You know what I mean? They just want to expose it to everybody. And I really respect James a lot. I can't wait till the movie comes out. I can't believe we have to wait 8.5 months or whatever they said last night.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, James.
James.
Steve.
All right, kick me off there, Jimmy.
No, I'm not kicking you off. You know that.
I know, man.
You know that. Come on,
have a
Steve.
good night.
Come on, Steve. I'll see you on Monday, man. You have a great weekend.
Later, man.
Talk to you. You're live on Fade to Black. Let's just keep it going. Who's calling?
Jimmy Church, Alex Mesta.
Alex Mesta. How are you, my friend? Before I even get to that, everybody still is talking about you hanging out with the Fadernauts over at the cabin at Contact and how cool you are. For a UFO researcher, you're an all right guy. That's the consensus on the street.
I can't disagree with you. I am pretty cool. I had a great time.
Man.
A little too much vodka, but I had a great time.
Man. Alex came over with us, and all the Fadernauts, all the contest winners, everybody with Steve. We went to Rocky's Pizza, got a stack of pizza. How many boxes? How many people? What we get? Like 4 pies, 4 huge ones. Yeah. And then we hit the liquor store. Yes, we did. And we went back and did it fade to black style, man. And thank you for hanging out with everybody. Walter just tweeted, by the way, yo, Alex. Yo.
Walter, what's up?
Yeah, Walter. Oh, man. So, thank you for that. Thank you. It was a great time. Was that an amazing event? Out of all of, Alex, you've been doing this for a long time.
Correct.
Have you ever gone to I want to say convention, get together, a gathering of that size like that before? Was that just an amazing event that Victoria put on, Victoria and Paul?
It was enormous. I honestly did a great job. It was really well run. It was a great facility. I mean, I've been to tons of conferences, as you know, UFO, cryptozoology, parapsychology. That was by far the largest that I've been to personally, Quality speakers.
Everybody was there watching you and Steve walk around, and the respect that you two guys have, not only for it was a mutual thing, and watching you guys walk around saying hi to old friends like that, and that was the vibe that was there. I don't want to really run this in the ground like everybody had flowers in their hair, and walking around peace and love. But it was that, wasn't it? Wasn't that just an amazing vibe? I didn't want to leave.
I think the UFO field is changing. It's now people, in the past, people didn't get along too well. People like talk crap at one another. People, this guy's wrong, this guy's crazy. Now we have more of like a team thing going, and I think that's how we're going to get answers. And you're leading the charge.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
Yep.
Well, and I'll say this: I do need to respond. I'll do more so next week, but there's all this scuttlebutt going around about myself and George Noring, and George did call into the show. Now he did, and that was great. But George and I at the show, he spun around and I think I'm going to quote him. This is how he greeted me. Jimmy Church, give me a hug. Right? Or something like that. And this was away from everybody else. This is George and I by ourselves. He had just finished his luncheon, and Rita and I were walking through, and we had our press passes, so we could do whatever. And he literally said, we get along. It's okay. And I said, exactly. Now, this is away from everybody else. Now, George and I walked out on the veranda there and had a conversation in front of everybody. There was, 100, 200 people out there. You could have heard a pin drop because everybody wanted to just listen to what George and I were saying to each other. Now, what we did, that's for another time and another place. I'll talk about that later. But what he said, together, both of us, is that, this is a different world. Let's just, let's just all get along. It's okay. You're doing your thing. We're doing ours. It's great. Mutual respect. And it was awesome. And
yes,
what I'm
talking about.
That's what I'm saying. It was like that in its most fundamental form. It was going down like that on the patio, but it was like that on every turn there. Every researcher, every presenter, every attendee You know, it was like everybody just checked their attitude at the door, and we all got along. You know, and it was a great time. Oh, there was one story that went down, or one thing that went down that I haven't told anybody about. It was really trippy. Saw David Wilcock. Now, David travels with security, right? I'm armed security, right? Like the real deal dudes, SWAT team guys. And I know you saw that. So, but for those that weren't there, let me just tell you what happened. So this is how cool this place was. It was the vibe. David speaks, and at the end of his presentation, I jet out and go around to the side of the building just to say hi. And I knew he had his security and stuff, and I didn't want to freak anybody out. I didn't want to freak out his security, you know, I didn't want to get shot. But so I run around the side of the building, and he runs out with his security team, and he jumps in this golf cart, and he's peeling out. And I step up, and I go, Wilcock, it's church. And he looked at me, hit his security guy, and said, stop. This is my friend. He jumps off the golf cart, runs up. You know, we do the bro hug, the chest bump. Everything's good. Everything's good. Jimmy, look, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he, you know, bam. And he's, but it was like that. He didn't have that attitude. He didn't like keep driving. You know what I mean? And ignored what was going on. And that's the kind of vibe that was going on there. And it was like that on every turn. And so enough about that. But the thing is, we've been talking about this every night. I can't wait for a year. I can't wait till next year. We're already counting the days down when the next contact in the desert goes down. It was that cool. And for everybody out there that does want to go and see something like this and go participate and hang out, if you're going to do one, that's the one you want to do. You want to go to Contact in the Desert, Joshua Tree. That's a good time. So anyway, man, you called in. What's going on?
No, I was listening to the Teter talk, and it's mighty interesting. Just the only point I wanted to make is, the whole time travel thing is that quantum physics allows for the possibility of time travel. So there's a black project somewhere that's been working on it for a while now, you know?
Absolutely. 100%. No question about it. No question about it.
So the question whether, by 2036, whether it's established or not, but the possibility exists, and that's, fascinating. I hope he's not real, because I'm not ready to, go down that way with the war and all that. But I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what do you think about? I'm outspoken about this, but I really, for anybody out there that's skeptical or wants to try to change my mind or change somebody else's mind, the one thing I'm going to drive home: nobody's been busted. If it's a hoax, you can't have a hoax without somebody getting busted. That's the definition of a hoax. Nobody's been busted.
Let me tell you a quick little story. I had a meeting with Sony some years back, with one of the producers, and he had just met the day before with a Black Ops scientist, a guy, that came in driving a Ferrari. Those guys get paid pretty well.
Right.
And guess what? What he was working on? Time travel.
And?
That's all he said. He said, I'm working on time travel. I can't tell you anything else.
Ah.
And that's all he said. And drove away in his Ferrari. True story.
Wow, it wasn't a DeLorean, it was a Ferrari.
It was a Ferrari, according to the Sony producer, yeah.
Oh, you know what I saw the other day, before I let you go? I saw a USB charger that, I forget the company that's selling it. Somebody should help me out on this. It's a flux capacitor but it's a USB charger for your car. And it's exactly the same as the flux capacitor from Back to the Future. Remember how it was in the glass case, right? And you saw the yellow,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And it is the coolest thing you have ever seen. I've got to get me one of those. It's a USB flux capacitor for your cell phone. It is.
That's a must get.
Yeah, man. It is the coolest thing ever. All right, Alex Mesta, thank you, my brother. And I'll be talking to you over the weekend. Oh, by the way, As you know, we'll be broadcasting live with you guys this Tuesday. Nick Menza, Preston Dennett, and it's going to be another hang with Alex and Steve out at UPARS. Looking forward to it, man. You guys always put on a good show.
Yeah, can't wait.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you over the weekend. Alex,
Jimmy.
all the best. Alex Mestretta, everybody. The Alex Mestretta, not to be confused with anybody else. And, by the way, Alex did say at Contact in the Desert that he's ready for the Eugene Challenge. Isn't that what he said? I'm saying it out loud right now in public. Watch Twitter light up. He said he's ready for the challenge. Hey, Walter, by the way, okay, up. You're live on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church.
Jimmy, this is Lou Sheen.
Lou, how are you?
I just wanted to call and, this past week a lot went on, and I realize it's a John Teter night, but I thought the revelation from Jim Fox, Tracy Torme, that the U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff saw stacks of Roswell files. Now, he didn't say where, and hopefully we'll find out where.
Right.
But why would Roswell files be laying all over the place with the U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff? Again, the Air Force, remember?
Yeah, we're talking about McPeak.
Run across them.
Yeah, we're talking about McPeak here. McPeak.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So
I'm
just saying, that's pretty significant. It's not like the files were just kept in a basement somewhere and then someone just decided to toss them.
Right.
Clearly, they were being analyzed.
Right. Yes. My thing is, my thing with, I don't want to kick a dead horse here, but the one thing about Roswell, and no matter what anybody wants to say, so all of that is there, but the one thing for me, is why would the Air Force fly a bunch of weather balloon material that you could put in a shoebox on a couple of military transports to Wright-Patterson for analysis?
Well, yeah,
that's the one. That's
of that.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one that. Why would they do that?
Why would they bother to recover it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who cares?
They sent out 40 of them, and they let the other 39 rot in the sun.
Yes.
Eventually those things come down.
They're all over the place. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Those balloons are coming down.
Again, I just thought that was interesting, and I hope we get more information now.
Well,
they
did
provide more information for us.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he did say that it was going to make the film. That particular part of the interview and that evidence was going to make it into 701.
Well, the thing is, it could be for 10 seconds. He said he had 45 minutes of film of the guy, and that's not to say I expect 45 minutes to be in there.
Right.
But, we'll see. I don't think it was a guarantee, but having said all that, I just think, I realize people are almost dead tired of Roswell.
Right.
Again. Why would those files be somewhere where the U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff would stumble across them on a table if they were of no value, if all they did was pick up a balloon?
Right. No, that's the thing. That's the bottom line for me on this entire story. And
again, that was a good thing this week. I'm talking about last week.
Yes.
This was a wrap-up
yes.
show, so I just thought I'd point that out. Unfortunately, I was the one who sent in the McPeak question.
Right.
And, there's only so much time. I'd like to have followed up, but I realize you can't read all my emails, just 95% of them. So, you missed the follow-up questions. But anyway, have a good weekend. I just wanted to make that point.
Hey, Lou, from all of us here at Fade to Black, thank you for your help this weekend out at Contact in the Desert. And there's not enough time to sit here and point out and thank you for everything that you did. But you worked for us all weekend tirelessly.
It was a good weekend.
And it was an amazing.
I really appreciate it. So,
Yep.
I had a good time, and it was good to meet everyone.
It
really was. It was a very good time.
Very
civil, very polite.
I want to say one thing.
Supportive.
I want to say one thing to you. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this, but with when I was walking by you with Eric Von Daniken, we had just gotten out of Eric's golf cart, right? We were over at his little place, and we rode up, and he was so stressed out, and he had told us, I'm totally tired. I just want to get in there and he was just a stress case, and he's old, and so his assistant said, "Okay, I'm going to go in front," and I said, "Okay, I'll walk in back." So we just wanted to make sure that nobody talked to him, and he just made it up those stairs in the heat and into the room. And you had jumped out. You saw me, and I'm with Von Daniken, and I rudely walked past you, put up my arm.
Oh, I didn't take it that way. I didn't take it that way.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. So.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, he worked hard all weekend. He had several seminars, not just one.
That's right.
And I realized his age is getting up there, and the air conditioning was going. So, no, I didn't take it personally. In fact, he was very polite later. Afterward, he just waited in line for as many people who got in line and signed their books for him.
Yeah, awesome. And I did see the pictures of you two together, so that was really cool that you pulled that off. So
I'm just impressed with the intellect. I guess the education.
Oh, you know what he said?
In
hey,
Europe.
Check this out. I got to say this to everybody. We're winding down really quick. I'm waiting for Les. Les is supposed to be the closer tonight, and I'm still waiting for Les. Right. And if Les calls in, I'm going to hang up on you. But check this out. Check this out. So I'm a big watch guy, as you know. I collect watches.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there with Von Daniken at his thing in front of he's got a table and chairs, and we're sitting out front smoking cigarettes. And I look down at his watch. I think this is Les here. Okay, I'm going to tell the story off the air.
Okay.
Or keep listening. I'll finish
Have a good weekend.
You got it. Thanks, Lou.
Right.
Les?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Les, hold on. Let me finish this Von Daniken story. It's really cool.
No, please do.
Yeah. Check this out. So I look down, and he's got an Omega Seamaster watch on. I think that's what it was. And it was black. And I looked down, and I said, nice Omega. And he goes, this one was in space. I said, really? And I just looked at it, and he just like, wow. So I don't know who he got the watch from, but
astronaut.
Yeah. Somebody. It was in space. This one was in space, Jimmy.
Cool.
I'm like, no way, really? I'll trade you watches right now. Kind of funny. How you doing, Les, the closer? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. How are you doing?
It's another great night. I'm serious, and I say this every Thursday, but Thursday night is the highlight of the week. Just hanging out with everybody, and I wish that I could pick up every single call. I pick up like every other call. I'll probably get used to in the future not yapping so much and maybe being rude to the callers and cutting everybody off.
That's why we listen, though, Jimmy. We listen to hear you.
Well, no. It's all about you, Les, and everybody else. Please. I ain't got nothing interesting to say. I bet
you can't wait for the weekend, though. You got to be tired.
Well, you know what, though? This is the thing. Tomorrow night, it's too bad you're so many states away, Les.
Yeah.
But tomorrow night, we're going to have some family come over, and we're going to cook out. It's Friday night, and we're really looking forward to that. So, yeah, that's I am very much looking forward to tomorrow night. But it doesn't matter. The energy that you get from hanging out with everybody. Just imagine, you get the same vibe, Les. It's the show. It's everybody. It's the Fate or Not family. Let's go. Let's hang out, and let's just see how the evening unfolds. That's where I'm coming from.
Absolutely.
Who called in? Somebody called in. What encore Fade to Black show should we play tomorrow? Okay, that was just posted by Keith at Dark Matter. So I guess I don't think he's asking me. He's asking all of you. Which Fade to Black show should we encore for tomorrow? So
last Friday.
Oh, do the Contact in the Desert show? How did that sound?
That was an epic show. I mean, a few little problems here and there in the very beginning.
Right.
But it was a live show. I mean, you guys barely made it on time, as you said, considering all the monumental hills and valleys you had to climb over.
Right.
It was great. It was an epic show. Everybody enjoyed it.
I remember. You should ask all the Fadernauts. They were watching everything go down, and I'll say this: I did not panic. Keith called me at like 6:15, and I know he tweeted and he was trying to chase me down, and my cell phone rings.
He sent out a all points bulletin tweet.
yeah. And of course, I wasn't online. You know, we weren't online. We hadn't gotten the routers up and running. So therefore, I didn't know that he was reaching out, and I hadn't checked Twitter on my cell phone because everybody that would be tweeting was there with me, you know, in the desert. So anyway, I never checked. And when he called at 6:15, what's going on? I was like, hey, man, okay, it'll be all right. Is everything? Yeah, it's okay. I never panicked. Had I known, if I would have known then that we were going to wait until 5 till 7 to actually get onto the routers, I might have been panicking a little bit more. But I just somehow it was okay. We weren't able to check.
It was funny.
Yeah. Well,
everybody's phones were dead by, I think, all the Fadernauts there. I think the heat and the dragging on of the day. I think it must have toasted everybody's phone batteries, because I think you guys were totally out by the end of the show. I mean, that extra 20 minutes though was just phenomenal. It was beautiful. We loved it. We ate it up. It was great.
I'll tell you though, there was a couple of things that were really funny about when we fired up the show. One, I had no notes. Two, I had no music. 3, I happened to bring, as a backup to everything, a little portable MP3 player. Okay, so I knew that if I just had a network connection and a microphone and my MP3 player, that I would be able to somehow get this thing done. But this was the funny thing about the entire show that nobody knows about. We got there, we left L.A. and made the drive out, which was 4 hours, made the drive out, got there, unloaded the gear, set up, and got the show going by 7 o'clock. What didn't happen between me leaving L.A. and getting there was I never went to the bathroom, and I didn't eat. And so setting up the show and getting ready and everything else, I never went to the bathroom, and I never ate. So the show, by the time 10 o'clock rolls around and it's the end of the show, I've got to go to the bathroom now. It suddenly hit me. And I was rapping with, I think it was Joe Bookman at the end of the show. And all I could think about was the bathroom that was right behind me. Where
right
we
behind
were,
you,
yeah,
all
where
the
we
pictures.
Yes. And so, and then, of all things, Linda Moulton Howe and John Anthony West walk up and go, "We're here." And all I could think about at that moment was, I can't go to the bathroom. I'm starving and I can't go to the bathroom. And that's what went down. And that's the beautiful, I doubt that I'll ever go and listen to the show again. But think about what I just said. It was 10 hours in between food and bathroom breaks. It was insane. And then after that, we went to the bar across the street, all the Fadernauts. And we go across the street to the saloon. We go in, we get the table, and I went to that bathroom. And I'll say it right now in the air. I peed for about 17 minutes.
What are those ogre peas?
Oh, I felt so good. But yeah, so think about, when you think about that show, and people think it's not that it's easy or it's fun or it's not or it's difficult or it's hard, or it's not about that. Just think about some of the things that are going down behind the scenes, trying to get a router up for 6 hours with a tech. Think about the heat. Think about the water. Think about eating. All the other logistics that go on behind it, and everything else. So yeah. So while I'm sitting there talking on the microphone that night, you're listening to a guy that hasn't eaten or gone to the bathroom in 10 hours. That to me is the high
classic.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, Les, man, another night. You're the closer. I got to say, all the best, man. All the best. I'm looking forward to Monday and hanging out with everybody again. And we'll tweet. We'll hang out over the weekend. Again, all the best. And
all the best, Jimmy. Have a great weekend. You deserve it. Okay?
Listen, all of you Fadernauts and this family here, you guys are what make it worth it for all of us here at the studio.
Well,
okay?
That's why we're here, because it is a family, Jimmy.
I really appreciate it.
It is a family.
I really appreciate it.
Good night, Fadernauts.
Okay, thank you, Les. All the best, my brother.
Good night, Jimmy.
Good night.
Bye.
Fade to Black is about that right there, what you just heard. And that is why we do it. I'm serious. And you know what? I don't think I'll ever get tired saying that, how thankful we are here. And people ask about the success of this show or how to come, where to come from, what's going on. You know what? It's about the family. And that's what drives us here. Always remember that. A year from now, we're going to be laughing about all of this. And remember when. Think about that. All right. Let's do this. Let's roll. Let's get this one out of here. Thank you to everybody that called tonight. Call-in Thursday is so special. It's the highlight of the week, and I mean that. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Night Watch with Todd Sheets and 15 other co-hosts. They might have a guest. It's coming up next. Special thanks to Keith Rowland and Art Bell. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Thank you to all of the Fadernauts, everybody on Twitter, Nancy and Bill Burns. Bill, I'm sorry we woke you up tonight. Show was produced by Hilton J. Palm and Mark D. Kovar. The announcers are Steve Harder and Mark D. Kovar. Music is by Doug Aldrich. Show intro is performed by the one and only Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Dark Matter Radio Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Everybody have a great, safe weekend. And always remember, do what I would do. Just don't get arrested. I'll see you guys on Monday. See ya.